Very, very just
Oh yeah, Jason. By the way, now we go live for the pre-show, so it's kind of bullshit while we get everything set up, and then we actually start the show.
yeah. I've been kind of following along here and there.
Sweet.
And my phone's going crazy because I've got the Facebook alert, YouTube. I'm like,
Does this mean I can't have my egg flour soup?
Yes, you
You
can.
can have it.
This is pre-show.
Okay, good. Then for the real show, I will
complain.
stop
You
eating
can
soup.
bitch about whatever. You know,
Is there still a
make fun
Trello?
of Ross. It works.
Yes, there is still a Trello.
I mean, the god awful sweater that he has on.
It's not that bad a sweater.
It's just an ugly.
I love
It's
that
pretty-
sweater.
Oh my god.
It's one of those. It's so ugly. It's awesome sweaters.
It's not even that ugly.
Thank you,
There
son.
it is. That's a compliment, Ross.
I am
Seriously.
pimping my Volatile Design Discovery jacket for the Discovery premiere,
Nice.
but instead of my disco shirt, I'm pimping my Rito shirt.
Traitor.
I love that they made it Ritos.
Well, I mean, that's the way it was on the show.
All it's missing is the dough.
Now you just made me hungry for those.
Well, what's funny is I wear these to work occasionally. So, like, you know, I mean, they're used to see me in the disco shirt, right? And I came in with Ritos on today because it's the first time I wore to work, and they're all like, "Doesn't that normally say disco?" I'm like,
Well,
Yeah.
it shows brand recognition from the font.
"Yep."
Good for them.
Have you noticed the Trello is a lot more better organized than it used to be?
Thank Rayna.
Yes.
I
Rayna's
laid
been
out
doing
the
a great job
categories,
of filling in the
and
topics.
Rayna did.
I quickly pruned them right before the show.
I was gonna say with how Jason said he wears that to work. When I wear Star Trek stuff to school, everybody just looks at me and like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm in the physics department." I'm like, "Nobody knows Star Trek here? Like, screw you guys."
Yeah, really. What kind of science students are they?
Millennials, obviously.
I wear
It's
I
time
wear
to
Star
put up
Trek
the
masks.
lane graphic where he's going bitches.
I actually
what was
don't
it?
have that one.
I think it was
Don't?
Halloween. It was Halloween of 2019. I wore my Star Trek TNG uniform, and then my professor, who's in his 60s,
I have
he's a
this.
PhD in theoretic. He's a PhD in theoretical physics, and I walk in. He goes, "Oh, that's a nice costume. What is that?" I'm like, "Bruh."
Do you even Trek, bro?
Right?
I have sufficient lane. Oh yeah, we also have this.
Mugato go botobo. I thought that was hilarious how they kept mispronouncing it.
There we go. That one. Wait, you had a better one than that one, Justin. What was it? I think Mariner was holding him, or somebody who was holding him.
It was Wendy and Rutherford.
Yes.
Where is that one? I got it somewhere. It's somewhere. I'll find it. Oh wait, did I?
You know, if you keep those in nice and neat little folders, even if you lose one, you'll always be able to go back to the original.
You know, like a Lane meme folder. There
You need
go.
to put him on top of the Incredible Hulk.
No.
Why?
It's
No.
no, it's not Lane that needs to go on the Incredible Hulk. It's Travis that goes on the Incredible Hulk.
No, Travis is the Bruce Banner. Oh my god.
So since this is since pre-show, has anybody else been watching Camp? Oh God.
That was a great episode.
That's not even the one that breaks me.
Wait a
That's
minute. Wait a minute. Okay, so just the words of that, and the thing that runs through my head is it anything related to Lower Decks? It's naked time. Power Rangers theme plays.
Oh no, no.
Is anybody keeping up with Camp Cretaceous of the Jurassic Park series besides me and Ross?
No.
I've watched the first season.
Okay. I'm like, they're doing season 4 in December.
Jesus, already?
Yeah.
Why does it take them so little time to make that, but it takes them forever to make these other ones, and I'm like, what?
Because they have that cartoon shop in Indonesia just chunking them out.
Ross, with Camp Cretaceous season 4 coming out, the producer came out and said, without getting spoilery, but in season 4, the island they're on
Spoilery.
is not one of the Cinco Muertes. It's a different island entirely.
Wait, they're introducing a brand new island where they were doing more dinosaur experiments?
Dinosaur and prehistoric beasts. So there's saber-tooth.
So it was that like 3 islands now?
Oh,
There's yeah. Hold that thought. I got to take care of something quick. Hold on.
Why did you have to break Ross before the show? That's my job.
Oh, of course they would. Oh.
Put the lotion down,
mobile
Ross.
games that I ever got into was the fucking Jurassic Park mobile game. And in addition to the dinosaur park, you had the underwater aquatic park. You also had the Ice Age park. And that was the coolest thing.
Manny is not going to be happy about this.
Carlos,
Yes. That is a perfect expression on Lane's face.
Oh, looks like Trello's made it back on their trip. So that's good.
Good.
A little speed demon.
I hope they made a few stops at least.
Well, you know. Enjoy the scenery, hopefully.
Because a straight shot road trip is a very miserable thing.
Yes, it is. Been there, done that, and it's no joy.
Unless it's a
Bus
straight-
ride from Indy to
straight shot road trip
Alabama.
to Las Vegas from Salt Lake City.
Hey, I went to Las Vegas from here, riding in a fucking semi truck with a group of friends. You want to talk about an adventure? That was an adventure.
So we all know Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
But what you may have forgotten is that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is a Thanksgiving film.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh, but speaking of Christmas films, let's see. Oh, what we got here?
And don't forget, Gremlins is also a Christmas film.
It is.
Star Trek Generations is a Christmas film.
It's also a Halloween film.
How's it
'Cause
Halloween?
It's a nightmare.
I wouldn't call it a nightmare.
I don't know. It seemed like a nightmare for Dr. Soren.
Oh, that's hilarious. So it looks like the latest Axonar thing got took down off of YouTube.
Oh,
It was claimed by Paul Jenkins.
Actually, it wasn't by Paul Jenkins.
Oh, it was by Mike Bodden, right?
It was Mike Bodden.
And
If you look at the
Oh yeah, the media.
yeah. Thank you for the host.
what?
Or on
Ooh.
Twitch, my Twitch.
Oh, your Twitch.
Oh, your Twitch.
Yeah, my
Less-
internet
less-
connection
less
problems
important
are
Twitch.
solved.
oh,
at
he was
last.
thrilled by that.
Yes.
Yeah, we got them a actual Ethernet cable set up. They got them a new router. Joe
what
got them a router.
What happened was when I got my new router to replace my old and busted one, the guy who installed it didn't finish the software setup.
Oh my god.
So once he did, my wireless connection more or less stabilized, and my hardwired connection, thanks to Justin, was evened out, and everything runs beautifully. No
And Ross
more,
has a
no
new
more
camera setup,
robot,
too.
no more assimilation, no more Dalek, and I can stream to my Twitch now. So Justin is free to stream to other places too.
So now we actually have Twitch chat.
Yes.
So
That works.
His Twitch chat.
Yeah.
so did you see my-
Ross, did you ever confirm the email I sent? Because now you'll be able to sign on and probably we probably set you up with Twitch chat. And we just get rid of the Facebook destination because we rarely get people on to Facebook. We probably add another destination.
Well, we shouldn't completely knock the Facebook. That's where Greg came from, after all.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Greg. I'm kidding.
You're saying hi to Carlos, Jason, Ross, Son, and Justin.
Before we get started, I wanted to show you my Halloween costume.
Ooh.
You bought the hash. You bought it. You bought it.
I jury rigged it.
Oh. But does
You
it
should have it-
vibrate?
You should have it play the music too.
No, please don't, because we'll get it.
Wait.
Does the little thingy pop out at the end when they return it on?
So how
Have
many of
you
you
seen it yet?
how many of you have seen it?
Not yet.
Apparently.
I was supposed to go Wednesday night, and I canceled on my kid, and he was devastated. It's for the Discovery thing, and then my power goes out. So that's like karma.
That's karma.
That's
Mhm.
That's karma.
It's just
Jason. I don't want to
Unfortunate.
say it. I don't want to say this, but you done fucked up.
Yep, your Gozer's paying you a visit.
none of that is his fault.
Did you send it to my Google or my Yahoo, Justin? I forgot.
The one that you sent me.
So back when I broke Ross, but yes, in Camp Cretaceous, the new island is completely new.
It
and
might be in
canon.
your spam.
I'm checking spam.
And it's either they're hinting that it's Manticore who Sammy was spying for.
Well, that would make sense.
But yeah, there's saber-tooth tigers. It's actually, here you're gonna like this one. If you've read, I'm pretty sure some of you, any of you've read Michael Crichton's Westworld, and then leading into him writing Jurassic Park, this season 4 has a very Westworld feel to it from the trailer.
Look in chat, Ross.
I saw Galactic Star Cruiser
Okay, yeah.
compared to Westworld today in an article. Now they're doing some previews.
Yeah, so StreamYard has teams now.
Yeah,
So
I
you
got
can
a-
actually
an
add
ad-
team members, and that can do things like, set up the show and everything, and I had to bootleg it like we used to.
Cool.
So you get
Uh-oh.
one free and then the rest are
Uh-oh.
a discount. What? What did you do?
My
We're watching the Trello on Ross's stream.
the
Ross's windows have screwed up for OBS.
yeah, it opens Trello in the same window as StreamYard's.
Oh,
So now I have to.
You should get the Trello app. That way you don't have to worry about it. doing something.
yeah, there's a Trello Windows app too, I think.
Yeah.
Or you open it in a different browser window.
There we
that's
go.
Probably a bit of news. I don't think we added that. I don't know. We might have to cover next week.
What is it? It's pre-show.
So, OBS may
Oh.
be suing Streamlabs.
Yes,
Yes.
I have stopped
Over
using
Streamlabs,
Streamlabs.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're mad, and
I have
justifiably
stopped
so.
using, and I have stopped using Streamlabs because it's gotten to the point now to where Streamlabs has gotten like really shady about shit. Used to, whenever you used the service, you could actually stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, no problem. Free without having to sign up for Prime. But now they make you sign up for Prime for premium destinations.
So one of the VTuber servers I and Ross is in is for a robot VTuber streamer, and she's been using Streamlabs OBS for like the longest fucking time, and it just started breaking. And she's like, fuck it, I need to focus on moving everything to OBS, and I'm going to grab Stream Elements. And she's like, not even an hour goes by, and she goes, holy shit, Stream Elements is fucking amazing. They even have a merch option, and they're not charging you for shit.
Yeah. I've been on Stream Elements for probably a week now, and I love it.
Yeah, the
I'll
best
be
part is
swapping
the
over
import.
starting tomorrow.
I have no
Yeah,
idea what I'm doing when I stream. I just use OBS, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah,
it's super easy to set up. It's really easy, man. If you need any help with anything, Ross, let me know, and I'll walk you through whatever you don't understand. Same for you, Greg. We can always go on a Discord. We can always go on Discord, and I can walk you through whatever. It's super easy. But there's enough help, how-to videos and whatnot, where you should be able to figure things out.
Because I want to stream Jurassic World Evolution 2, because that game, holy shit, is like my crack right now. I've been playing it since the 9th when it launched. I've already logged 30 hours on it.
Hydrate
3 hours is
before the show even starts, huh, Greg?
Yeah. You know how I roll, Ross?
Really, Greg?
Oh man, I haven't hydrated
Justin,
in a
you
long
missed
time.
out on Ross's stream last night. You missed out on fucking comedic gold.
So,
What did you do to him?
An old friend of mine, a shipmate from when I was
Great
in
Lakes.
Great Lakes, came in and under a user name that I didn't recognize and tried to clue me in on who he was. But initially, he said it had been 5 years since we met, which would have put me in San Diego, California. And his first hint was, "What do rabbits do?" Now, what would you say to that question?
Run.
Okay. All right.
One at a time.
I would say,
son, you guys were there. Don't answer.
I would say fuck.
Jason, what would you say? What would you answer to? What do rabbits do?
Make babies.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I thought. So I thought it was an ex-girlfriend who was getting in touch. And so that's what I was racking my brain on. Until he said, "Oh, actually, it was more like 8 years ago."
Yeah.
But so that narrows my list down significantly. And I wasn't banging anybody in a school. That would have been bad. So I was racking my brain. Okay, who is this? Why she wasn't an IC? She was an ET. So who the hell is? It was my friend Hopper. What do rabbits do? Hop. And this racking my brain, my entire mental process disintegrating by the moment on screen was live for everyone to see.
And it was actually funny. For some reason, that's when Ross's viewership jumped to like 10. It was hilarious.
Look, there are two things that people will watch on Twitch: boobs and confused ass men.
Yeah, he got me good.
It was hilarious.
I mean, there's a reason the Bob Ross channel got their emotes ruined. Like ruined is an emote in the Bob Ross channel.
Yeah.
It's because of the chat. The chat viewership jumped when they thought a painting was ruined.
Happy little accidents.
That's what puppy pads are for.
You get me a stretch now in the pre-show? Seriously?
Yeah, before the show starts. You're looking a little tight there.
Well, you've only got this camera, so you're getting a full shot of the sweater and none of the slipper.
Why you're making them all hot and sweaty before their show? I mean, we might as well get the porno music going.
Well, we're not going to use X hamster like a freaking Neanderthal like Joe.
I mean, I'm more impressed Ross didn't have the snappy comeback of, well, thank you.
Jesus
You're
Christ.
looking all tight before the show. Well, thank you.
That scream scared me too, Carlos. I was like, what the hell?
This is something I'm doing now, Carlos. It's a viewership redeems. You watch my channel for long enough, you get you accrue points, and the more points that you accrue, the more things that you can redeem, compelling me to hydrate, to stretch, to toss around a medicine ball, to do squats, to do crunches.
It's pretty much paid. It's pretty much paid porn without the porn.
It's funny. I have mine set up for my Twitch also, where my viewers can get me drunk.
And if you get enough points, I'll sing as I'm speaking for 5 minutes.
Which I just so happen to have 5,000 channel redeem points.
There you go. Or like Greg did during one of my hobby streams, he named one of my Necron Army characters.
Yes, I did.
Greg, sweetie, those are rookie numbers. I'm staring at 132,000.
I don't think Ross is thinking of that one. You know, it's funny.
That web, son.
It's no, Son's got a point though. So Leia's not at 100,000 because I just started my Twitch, but Leia's at 20,000 redeem points on my channel.
Maybe.
But yeah, he named this character.
Oh, sweet!
They have a name, and I'm formulating a backstory based on that name.
Zepaka, the Spice Lord.
Yes. And
So most Twitch streamers have like a hydrate redeem, right?
yeah, well, it's
I
a
have
stock one that Twitch automatically puts in there.
Right, because they ran that whole "Stay Hydrated" campaign.
Yeah.
But I've decided in my glorious fishness that because I am such an aquatic creature, I will have the opposite. I will have a redeem to breathe air.
So you can just take a breath of air and just go.
No. Basically, it's much worse than that. It's better and worse than that. So basically, when someone redeems it, it's basically going to be
the streamer that Sun mentioned. Saria, instead of stretch, she has lubricate, and so she stretches and makes interesting noises as she does. But yeah, posture check. I have to sit up straight for a little while just to make sure.
My
stretch speaks for itself.
Yeah.
You can unlock and change my emotes. There's crunches. There's medicine ball. Here's the medicine ball.
My drinking one, I call it Uno Mas Por Favor, and my viewers one night got me bad. 4 of them redeemed it, so I had to take 4 shots, and I got buzzed at the end of the stream.
Oh boy,
That would do it.
So they're like, hey, Greg, you look like you need a shot. I was like, okay, I'll take a shot. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, oh, you assholes.
so
Guess what just happened?
Yes.
we better
Unlocked sing mode.
We
So
better
let's get
start
this
the
show
show.
started while it's still active.
Alrighty, starting the countdown.
Tonight on the Real Super Geeks podcast, we review Star Trek Discovery, episode 4 of Prodigy, and Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Welcome one and all to the Real Super Geeks podcast on this, the 19th of November, 2021. My name is Ross, live, love, play, the eyebrows of doom. And I'm currently in sing mode thanks to my follower, Diavolo. Thank you so much.
How much did that cost?
Through this once more.
2,500 redeem points.
I'm very glad to be here once again with all of you to discuss the geekiest of topics of this last week. And holy cow, do we have a doozy of a show today! We have the premiere of Star Trek Discovery that we are no doubt going to talk about it to excess. And that'll do it for now.
All right. That was,
we also
well
have
done.
the 4th episode of Star Trek Prodigy, Terror
Fifth.
Firma.
Fifth.
Fifth
episode.
Fifth episode of Star Trek
5.
Prodigy, Terra
And-
Firma, and of course the latest trailer for Star Trek Spider-Man.
Terror
Now
Firma.
that-
Spider-Man
would be a what
No
if.
Way Home. So let's get into it. Joining me once again is my wonderful array of co-hosts. We'll start off with the man who will never let a gag die, who finally updated the countdown. It's Justin. How you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. It's been a busy week. I was lucky I even got that fitted in, but somehow managed to do the countdown before the show. Of course, it needs some work, but hey, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, be more patient next time so that little zinger you had at me lands a bit more strongly.
No, I'll get you next
Can
week.
you imagine how much funnier that would have been if
Yeah.
I reacted to that live
Mhm.
with Sing Mode?
Yeah,
You missed out,
no.
Justin.
I was trying to
Patience,
not
man.
break you before the start of the show for once, but
Then we would have had the
next week.
singing con monologue.
yeah.
Ooh, that should be a redeem all itself right next to What a Wonderful Wah. Back from an extended hiatus, it's Carlos.
buffet.
Welcome back. Glad to
Thank
have
you.
you.
Good to be back.
How you been?
With Star Trek Discovery? I have been very busy. I left during, I guess it was the summer. That feels like forever ago. And I've taken the train all over the country and started a new job. And so, yeah, lots going on.
He's personally closed like 9 different Golden Corrals.
nine different Golden Corrals and shut down the Vegas buffet all in 1 year. So that's pretty accomplishment.
Unfortunately, fictional, but I'll take the credit. I would actually love to get to a Golden Corral. We don't have any near me, so I live in.
Because you closed them all down.
I live in a buffet desert.
Because you closed them all down.
That is there are buffets in small towns, Justin. I live in a small town and there are 3 buffets.
I
live in
know.
a big
Do you
city
know-
and there aren't any. Well, there's an Asian one, but it's a trek.
We have buffets here in Salt Lake City called Chuckarama.
Wow,
So,
that was an unfortunate title.
so a restaurant, another restaurant in Japan has banned a guy who
Oh yeah.
stayed too long at the buffet. Apparently,
Justin found a way to
Also
torment me about that
returning-
one.
Is the man, the beard, Ensign Beard Fasse.
Beard
Jason, how you
Fasse!
doing?
The man, the myth,
How's
the
it
legend.
going?
With a fancy hand tracking camera.
also known as the understudy for Flavortown.
Oh, look at you
Yes.
showing off.
Look at this guy.
Now, what camera is that, Fasse?
I have an OBS Tiny Cam.
That's what she said.
Ooh, those are fighting words.
Well, I mean, we know you're small, Carlos, but come on, that small, really?
This
got
is
it for Father's
This is
Day.
my microphone.
You're overcompensating. That's why.
Jason,
had
how you doing this week?
I'm doing good. It's been a long. I think I joined. When did I last join you guys? A few weeks. Was it Star Trek Day? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
Star Trek
Oh
Day.
yeah.
Yeah, I joined Star Trek Day. Good. Work's been busy. We have a lot of work going on, so trying to keep my Friday nights free with the family. But no, it was good to come out and talk to you guys about new Discovery, and we haven't even been able to talk about Prodigy yet. So
Yeah, we got a lot to catch up on.
Yeah,
and a lot
yeah.
to talk
Looking forward
about.
to it.
Oh, taking a break from guiding Samus through the dark depths of wherever the hell she's ended up depowered this time. It's Sun. How you doing this week?
I'm doing all right. Interestingly enough, that's not Samus, that's Dayspring. Yeah, no, I've been trying to help Dayspring through because he's just gotten so fucking lost, and I have been too because I'm not remembering all the events properly from watching other streamers. So yeah, we just got to the point where he's released the bad thing. So yeah, that's fun. What did I do this week? I've slept a lot this week, like a lot. It got so damn hot, like just weirdly out of seasonally hot, that we turned the air conditioner back on.
Wow.
Wow.
And then it does nothing but rain for 2 days. And then after that, it's so cold, we turn off the air conditioner. We don't even turn on the heat. We just turn off the air conditioner. We're kind of fine. And then in the middle of the night, I feel the heat back on, and I'm like, nope, close all the vents, open the windows, because I can't stand the heat. And interestingly enough, opening the windows, I've slept the best in the past 2 days than I think I have in the past couple of months. So, yeah.
All right. And last but not least, he's made it his life's mission to make every stream as difficult as possible, and capitalizing on my humiliation. It's Greg. How you doing this week?
Doing good. Happy to be here. Looking forward to, spoiler alert, not actually hating Disco's premiere this year, so we'll see how it goes.
What? Who are you?
What
Getting
have you
over this,
done
I'm a
with
variant.
Greg?
God damn it! I'm gonna have to pull out the everyone agrees tag already. Jesus.
Probably.
So, guys, remember, he's a capitalist. He's capitalizing on the turnabout. He's capitalizing on it.
All right. Thank you, guys. We've got a lot to talk about this week, so let's jump into it. First and foremost, the biggest news of the week is Star Trek Discovery Season 4 premiere. We have entered uncharted territory. We have no idea what to expect or where we're going. And now we've gotten our first glimpse.
And it's not a kid screaming and causing a worldwide galaxy destruction this year. So, hey, I'm all for it.
I think you're a little salty that the burn turned out to be a natural disaster and not something malicious.
It's caused by a kid screaming. Yeah.
Natural disaster. Anyway, we get a brief recap of Season 4, where Discovery went into the future, found the Federation a wreck, and over the course of several months managed to piece things back together and correct things to get them back on a track to rebuilding and recovery. We return almost a little over a year later. Discovery has aided in the reunification of a fair portion of the Federation. Michael Burnham is reconnecting with a group of people who have a symbiotic relationship with butterflies. It goes poorly, and they end up running for their lives, getting shot at by these butterfly people who Michael insists are not butterfly people.
And
something
a
is
almost
wrong.
one-on-one recreation of Star Trek Into Darkness.
No, it is not.
It is not.
It is not even close.
The only thing they have in common, and Burnham says it, is why always a cliff? It's always a cliff.
Yes.
Which was, for people who are like, oh, they're just copying Into Darkness. It's like, no, they're tweaking Into Darkness.
Well, they did
they're
have a
aliens.
ship coming about.
I hate to break it to you, Justin, but Star Trek borrows from itself a lot. And it's not even the first time it
I
happened.
was
in the
making
episode.
a joke.
Let Ross finish and then make the joke.
They managed to
just-
figure out what's wrong, and they make amends, dropping off their supply of dilithium despite the hostile reaction and parting on good terms. We return to Starfleet HQ, where Michael
you forgot
is
a
giving...
very important bit of that opening, which was where the aliens believe that they have kidnapped a Grudge, who is, of course, a queen, and that they're
The monarch.
holding her. Yeah,
You
monarch.
complete
That was,
hater.
Book picked a bad time to call her a queen.
Yeah. Of course,
That
people
was
with
actually
a
the
symbiotic
most
relationship with...
That was actually the most Star Trek Discovery thing about this episode. Burnham fucking everything up.
and then fixing it.
Yeah. Out of sheer necessity to save her own life.
And a desire to do the right thing. And
Right,
complete a
right. If
mission.
it was just about saving her life, she would have fired back, and she didn't.
So we return to Starfleet HQ. The cloaking shield is nearly gone, and for the first time in who knows how long, Starfleet Academy is open to... It is having open enrollment once again. A new class of cadets are being instated, and it is an auspicious event. Michael is giving a speech, but so too is the new Federation president, an interesting individual who seems to be a something of a hybrid of human Cardassian and Bajoran.
Or Kywin 2.0.
No, she is not Kywin 2.0, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Michael gives her speech to applause. The president gives her speech praising the crew of Discovery and then introducing the Archer space dock. And
Yes.
oh my God, did I get chills when I heard Archer's theme? Did you guys?
Yes.
I did. It was a
Yes,
nice
yes,
touch.
yes.
It was a nice touch.
That was very cool. And it's so, I guess, like now, it used to be one ship per dock, and they started doing this in Picard, where you have more than one ship in the dock, so they're doing it here, where you have, I think you had three massive starships in the dock.
Well, that's a real world thing too. Depending on the size of the dry dock, you can have multiple ships in one dock.
So I guess I really am the only woman here? 'Cause I fucking cried during all of that. Like literally.
Actually, I was pretty moved myself.
I was
Not only-
happy.
Not only is it the Archer dry dock, it's literally got the Voyager J in it being
Mhm.
refitted.
Yep.
Mhm.
True.
With the was it the what drive
What's
is
it
it?
mean?
Pathway.
Spore drive.
No,
No.
The pathway.
Pathway.
The pathway.
drive.
Pathfinder.
Yes,
Or is
which
it
we find out
Pathfinder?
about later.
Pathfinder drive.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk about... I missed a lot because I was watching this on my lunch break in the lunch trailer on the construction site, so I might have missed a few things.
Ooh, that's so blue collar of you.
I'm a blue collar guy now.
He's a very meta person.
Okay.
So, cut to a new crisis. Starfleet has received a distress call from one of its deep space stations, and the admiral is sending Discovery to respond immediately. Interested, the president says that she will join the Discovery on this endeavor, despite Michael's protestations. But as she is the president, Michael cannot overrule her, nor can the admiral. Resigned
Yes.
to take this burden on board, Discovery sets out immediately to find the station careening deep into space. They manage to Through Detmer's expert piloting, so happy to see that on display, she managed to sync up with the station and send a boarding party on board of Tilly and Adira, both of whom are now full Starfleet officers and both have received a promotion. Lieutenant Tilly, who thought that would happen
Not
within
Tilly.
4 seasons? She's gotten promoted more than Harry Kim ever did.
Yeah.
Because she deserves it.
Oh,
Well, so did
Oh,
Harry.
I
but-
mean, she did literally advance 900 years, right?
Yeah. So, right before this, Book detaches from Discovery and heads to his home planet of Kejwan, where his nephew is undergoing
Quaison.
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 Yeah.
Wait, Jean.
That's what I said.
No, you said something slightly different.
You said Quaison.
Quaison, where he's undergoing a rite of passage. Tilly and Adira make their best attempt at making repairs to their station until something additionally catastrophic happens and they have to evacuate. It's a harrowing rescue that is rife with risks and damage to both the station and Discovery. Michael herself pops into a worker bee after butting heads with the president several times over taking direct action and seeming to question her own commands on the bridge of her ship. But she manages to get everyone on board with, sadly, only one casualty, the commander of the station, who it happens to be the same species as the young girl in the Star Trek Picard short track.
Which, by the way, I have to
Wow,
say,
I did
the
not
sound
realize
design,
that.
the sound design, and the music for this episode was fucking phenomenal. I mean, just the sequences, the action sequences, the whole station syncing up, the what was the repair pod scene,
Mhm.
worker bee. I mean, phenomenal VFX. I mean,
Let's
really
be
quality.
fucking honest. Did anybody I mean, I'm pretty sure that scene for the worker bee splitting in half was supposed to be this big huge moment where she's dead, and it's like, no, you idiot, it's 900 years in the future. There's fucking automatic EV suits.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah,
But
I
it
like,
was
oh,
a pretty awesome, intense moment. So, as the rescue efforts wind down and they make repairs to the ship, the president and Michael have a quiet moment in her ready room where Michael realizes that she wasn't boarding Discovery to make a political statement that she could capitalize later. She was evaluating Michael herself, which she wasn't exactly appreciative of. But the president, it makes it clear that she is very concerned over Michael's ability to make the hard decisions of command in a way that mirrors a lot of critics of the show, which I was quite appreciative of. Their tense discussion is interrupted by Bookship returning. The same distortion that disrupted the station has struck Quaison, and they discover it light years away from where it should be. A broken and dead world. Dun, dun, dun. So, we have the setup for the first few plots of this series. A drama between Michael and the president. Michael trying to prove herself to this woman and herself that she is capable of being in command. We've got the greater threat of this gravimetric distortion that seems to be traveling through the galaxy. And of course, we've got the ongoing plot of Adira and I'm forgetting their name.
Great.
And Gray. The quest to find them an incorporated body so that they can interact with the world once again instead of through just Adira.
We're going to find V'ger.
You bite your tongue.
Well, is
thank
this the
you,
place where we
son. Thank you.
is this the place where we get to speculate on what this distortion field is?
Not
I've
yet.
called
We
V'ger
also, I completely overlooked Saru and his reintroduction on Kaminar, We see the United Council of Kaminar, where the Baul and the Kelpians are united. They are cooperating in the prosperity of their world. And Saru, after having mentored and guided Sukhal after his ordeal and isolation on the Dilithium planet, has borne fruit. He seems to have developed quite well, matured in a very rapid period of time, and is advocating for unity.
That's because he's literally the honored elder, being 900 years old.
Well, yes, that too. And responsible for the uplifting of the Kelpians from their cattle state.
That's right, because of surviving the Baharai.
Right. So, first off, what did you guys think of this episode? The high points, the low points, the things you like, the things you didn't like. Let's hear it. Justin, you first.
Actually didn't really have any low points of it. It actually was pretty amazing start to the season. I know I joked about the scenes about the jumping off the cliff thing, but that was just because that was the running joke complaint I've seen. Yeah, they thought it was hilarious. People were complaining about that. But other than that, yeah, the music, the sound design, the action, it was really quite well done. I was kind of questioning the kind of wish we could kind of figure out more about what the anomaly was. I don't know. It seems like we've done the anomaly thing to death, but they're definitely doing an interesting twist on it this time. So I can't wait till we get to the speculation part about what we all actually think this thing is. Spoilers, V'ger.
It's not V'ger.
It's V'ger 2.0.
It is not V'ger.
It's not V'ger.
Well, I mean, it could. I mean, we never figured out what happened.
It is a gravimetric distortion. For now.
No. But
so right.
Just maybe something the Borg conjured up. Who knows?
It's going to be something brand new. It's not going to be a rehash.
But yeah, I'll save this for my George theory. But I got a good George theory because it's going to intertwine with how Discovery winds up abandoned for the short trek. And what we might be getting next season, because they're kind of strongly already hinting at it.
I thought the short trek was confirmed as one of the branch timelines that didn't exactly pan out.
I don't think so.
No, because they said it was going to happen. It was still valid. So
we'll see.
We just don't know when exactly.
Okay, so the trailers for this season, without saying it, have seemed to convey that whatever the hell this is going to be another temporal fucking thing.
No.
That's what it felt like.
There was no... What we've seen so far...
If someone's going to die. We know that.
Well, sure, but...
Because at some point they go into the damn thing.
Saru's going to die.
You keep wanting Saru to die, Justin.
Well, okay. It's either going to be Saru or Burnham's mom, because they hand the flag to the Vulcan Master. So
let's save the speculation for the speculation segment. Carlos, what did you think of that?
Another hour from now.
Yes,
I thought it was a really strong opening. I liked that there was a 5-month jump between season 3 and beginning of season 4, and that we got to see how some things have unfolded. We have a new member of the bridge crew. We've seen that that the bridge crew, the Discovery crew, in some ways is really viewed as these very important sort of historical figures with a lot of wisdom. I've always thought it's kind of interesting that the century that we're in now is one in which the scientific advancement in the Federation has not progressed the way kind of we've been used to seeing it in its early centuries. And And I think that's why some of the tech that we see, while certainly more advanced than what we saw in the 23rd or the 24th centuries, is still not as advanced as you might think for being, 1,000 years later. So I keep thinking as I go through, it's like, well, what if someone from the Middle Ages showed up today and, and we don't have, almost any technology that they would recognize. But here we do see that. And I think that says a lot about what happened in that intervening time period that I'm hoping we're getting little dribs and drabs as we go through about what the Federation was like leading up to the burn. Because while the burn certainly was a tragedy, the Federation seemed to be going down a pretty wrong path for quite a while. Even
rapid
before.
expansion.
Yeah, well, rapid expansion at some cost.
More, one of the, I can't remember the name of it, but a theory of empires that expansion is eventually gives way to contraction, and that's what the Federation was experiencing. They'd expanded so far that they couldn't support all of the worlds that were in their influence, and it was so bad the core members, Vulcan, Andor, even Earth, was feeling the strain.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you expand to that point,
you also have to remember that expansion was an expansion of desperation for running out of dilithium.
Yeah,
that too.
Yes, that was happening concurrently for sure.
Yeah,
and so we see even as the God, I hope I'm not sorry. We got to see the first two episodes, and I'm hoping that I'm not spoiling something that might have been in the second. Did we see the Navarre president in episode 1?
No.
Okay,
no.
Then I'll shut up. But we do know, even from the trailers, that that the danger that's posed by this gravimetric distortion does bring together some of the galactic powers, does unify them in order to tackle it. So that's in some ways I think a really positive sign. To me, the themes that basically the president talks about in her speech about learning from mistakes and how important it is to reach back out into the galaxy and to reestablish the Federation for its fundamental values, and how much Discovery plays into that, because being from 930 years before, early in the Federation's life, when she talks about how important scientific exploration was during that time period, and it was something that became a much lower priority by the time they got to the 30th century. So I think we're going to see those themes, and that's actually been a running theme since last season. The idea that the appearance of Discovery is in many ways a beacon of hope, and an example of the fundamental values of the Foundation of the Federation, and what role that's going to play with reunifying it, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. We got to see a lot of kind of backstory going on with the supporting cast, and finding out what they're up to and what Tilly's latest anxieties are about. And one piece that I was a little disappointed in, and Greg, I think you may agree with this, is we had that confrontation at the end of last season between Stamets. Yeah, well, no, they did address it, but they addressed it in a way that just sort of made
with the joke, I kind of thought that was kind of like, what the fuck just happened at that? It was like,
I think they could have milked that for quite a bit more than to dismiss it so easily. That was some real potential for some ongoing drama and conflict that I think existed.
It did bring up an interesting conversation, which we will be talking about next week between Book and Stamets.
Yes, that's going to be a really interesting thing. It is interesting to see how the relationships among the crew are now sort of morphing and developing.
I do actually like what they're doing with the crew dynamic this season. It seems like they're paying a lot more attention to the team as a whole rather than, just what Burnham is doing, or they're trying to include everybody a lot more, which they should.
We had Reese at the con for the first time,
Yeah,
which was really cool to see.
We had Detmer being a rock star at the helm, and Ooshikan doing her thing at ops.
Yeah, Ooshikan, I think she is I think my favorite person on that bridge, because she's so down to earth and so smart and so just earnest. And at the same time, she's very world wise, and I just think she's a very balanced character. She's solid as a rock. Everybody else has gone, off the path at some point, but not her. She has stayed true the whole time, and I really like that.
And something I noticed. What did anyone else notice? The fucking fire lamps up on the bridge whenever the ship was getting damaged. It's like every single light fixture had fucking flamethrower flames coming out of it. I'm just like, how is that?
They were overtaxing their power grid to extend their shields around an entire space station.
A flame shooting out from the light fixtures.
Welcome to Hollywood, Justin.
I mean, via plasma energy.
It can't be any less realistic than rocks going all over the bridge.
It's Star Trek. It's a staple of Star Trek.
Rocks.
And there is technobabble to support it.
I do want to call out the Stamets Burnham thing. Because we jumped forward 5 months, I don't think that Culber would allow Stamets to be bitter that long.
Yeah, he had 5 months worth of grief counseling.
I mean, I think Culber would have been like, dude, like, get over it. Like, it was my life, and she made the right call, so you need to get over it.
See, that's another. Jason touched on that. That's another dynamic. Hugh has accepted Burnham's decision and is not holding it against her. Stamets is the one that's like really pissed off about it. So it's like, you could.
Well, Hugh wouldn't hold it against her because she saved him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, Hugh stands by the decision she made to be like, you know what? Okay, we're being picked here. We're gonna die. Hugh accepted that, but it's just, yeah.
I just thought it was wasted potential.
I mean, it could have been. I hope that there's like a confrontation later on. I mean, that Stamets gets his grievance out with Michael in a way. I mean, it would make. He needs to. I don't know. You got. I can't talk about episode 2. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to.
Any other thoughts?
It's hard.
Yeah, just a couple of things. The title of this episode was Kobayashi Maru, and it was interesting to think about, how that would play out in the episode story-wise, because of course, I don't think it's a big spoiler to say that there is no actual, it's not the actual Kobayashi Maru that we see, but we do see the same kind of, what does Burnham do in the face of a no-win situation, and the idea that she refuses to acknowledge one, and in the context of what the president says, and what I thought was a great confrontation between the president and Burnham, as a sort of.
I actually like the president.
I do too. I think
her.
I think the fact that they butt heads and there's sparks between them is a really strong.
She's gonna die, but I like her.
I don't know. Well, you think everyone's gonna die, Justin? Yeah. So anyway, so that they have a face-to-face in which the president challenges Burnham and her quote-unquote pathetic need to save everybody. No, not pathetic. It was not psychotic, not pathological. Sorry, pathological need to save everybody.
You had it right the first time.
And and the idea, and it's very thought provoking. As I was watching that, I was like, the president isn't wrong. I mean, just because so far Burnham has been lucky to get out of all the situations that she's gotten herself into, doesn't mean that it's going to be that way forever. And
it's foreshadowing something that might happen later on this season, I think.
yeah.
But-
Anyway,
but-
so I hope they explore that more. That the headbutting with the president, because I think that has some real strong dramatic potential for the season.
All right. Thank you, Carlos. Justin, Jason.
Mate, like
Jason.
he just got back and you've already done it.
God
So-
damn it.
I'm just gonna say one thing here. We had Ensign Tribble.
That's
we-
right.
yes.
We saw the triple.
We had a
They were, and they were different. It was big. It was a lot bigger. It was a evolved triple.
It was one of the tribbles from the animated series.
But here's the thing:
Colony Tribble.
was it a crew member tribble, or was it just a pet that happened to be walking the halls?
Maybe.
I want to say pet.
I want to say it was a crew member. I want to think that like by this point, 1,000 years in the future, we have crew tribble.
Sentient cribbles.
Well,
Tribbles.
as fast as Tribbles propagates, I imagine mutations happen quite quickly.
Yeah. I actually really like this episode. It called back to so many good storylines and so many good pieces of Trek. I was listening to one person talk about the president being Bajoran and Cardassian, and that was being a powerful statement in of itself. That unity. So we know that from the last season we see the reunification of the Vulcan and the Romulan people on Navarre, but then we see kind of like the Bajorans and the Cardassians moving past their animosity to where you have the president of the Federation is a Bajoran and Cardassian descendant. And the last time we saw Star Trek, these two species were at odds with one another. So I think that was kind of cool. Again, speaking to the hope and that eventually we can settle our differences. I actually didn't like her very much. I thought as a leader, she presented some, challenging Burnham in the moment of command was extremely challenging for me, especially as that crisis unfolded. If she disagreed with what Burnham was doing, great. I mean, that's like your after action report, but like to do it while Burnham was making those decisions and undermining her authority was, if she wasn't prepared to remove her from command, she should not have opened her mouth in that moment.
That's the thing. That's why so many people think she's a villain. It's because we've seen like admirals and shit do that all the fucking time in Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't think she's a villain.
Yeah.
I just think she just demonstrated some very poor leadership skills there. Like, you just don't do that. You don't cause the crew to distrust what the captain's ordering in that moment, because that's more dangerous than whatever the captain was doing. Yeah,
Maybe she was just seeing how Burnham would react.
No, that's
Again,
exactly why
yeah.
she was doing it.
But again, not the time to do that, right? Not
Yeah.
the time to test, because you have people's lives in danger, right? I mean, like, I actually really did like Burnham's response. I told Justin this. I'm kind of disappointed that we're going with the Burnham bucking authority again or challenging authority again, because
Yeah, that's so old.
it is becoming a trope each season. So I hope that I hope that we see a relationship and a trust build, as opposed to it kind of just being like, this season's Admiral or this season's Lorca. Overall, though, I mean, I would give the premiere a solid 10 badges out of 10. I have them all lined up here. I don't have them on a board, so I can't hold them up. But I have the Tricom, the Picard, the Lower Decks, the Section 31. Anyway,
You're just showing off now. You're just showing off.
Yeah. I would give it 10 out of 10, because I mean, I think that like it was just a solid. I think it was the strongest. Probably it's a toss between this and the season 2 opener for the strongest Discovery premiere, in my opinion. You had action, you had story, you had drama, and then you had all the interpersonal stuff that I thought was really good. And
Jason, if this keeps up, you'll eventually be able to do 10 out of 10 badges.
I actually can do 10 out of 10 badges. Look.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. We got the Discovery one.
I just need to get on a board somewhere.
Thank you, Jason. Son, what do you think of the episode?
Well, my initial thought was, book, stop showing off. Like, literally, the opening scene is his ship coming out of the hangar bay, unfolding itself, flying through the Discovery, and then putting itself back together. Book, stop showing off. Honestly. Okay, question time. Is the Monarch Doug Jones? Reminded me of Doug Jones.
I thought the same thing. I don't think it is. But
so weird.
But he's got a very similar face and the same sort of body.
I mean, it's not the first time in Hackers played its dual roles in the show.
And so tall too, compared to everybody else.
Go gadget Google.
I'm going there now.
I think someone, if I remember correctly, someone in the chat asked T whenever we were doing the premiere, is that Doug Jones? And nobody could figure out the answer.
But yeah, no, that the butterfly people, the butterfly people were. I mean, that's cool. That was a unique thing. I actually really enjoyed that. Like, I don't know, the president thing is that's what got to me, is the president thing. It's like you have this complaint about Burnham's command. Really? Like, she's literally a captain of a ship. She wouldn't have been given that a captaincy if like everybody else had the same complaints, had the same issues, and that would have been an issue that would have been brought up for her to be a captain in the first fucking place.
See, I disagree with that, just because she was looking for some very specific qualities for a very specific mission on a very specific ship. So she's not saying Burnham is a bad captain. She's just saying, you're not the captain for this mission.
Well, it's not even that. This is like,
that's literally what she says to her.
The same thing that she's talking about. The same thing she's talking to Burnham about as being a bad quality. Period. Not just about piloting the new Voyager J drive. She's literally talking about Burnham as a captain, period. And you know what? That's literally the same shit the dude brought up last season. It's the exact same fucking argument. And if it's the exact same argument, why'd you make her a captain?
Because
well, first of all, she didn't. And secondly, because this is a civilian as opposed to...
No, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about what's his face making her the captain of the ship.
Oh, well, we covered that last season. He explains why he was wrong.
He did.
I mean, at this point, it feels like it's going to be the same material over and over and over again.
I thought that too, son, but I think we're going to see this go in a different direction. I really do.
God, I hope so, because that's the vibe I got.
You might enjoy this, Carlos. I've come to the realization why I dislike Discovery. It suffers from the Flash problem.
I know what you're saying. Big bad every season, and it's the same sort of
problem. It's literally a galaxy-wide problem every fucking season that either they cause, or in the case of last season, which is the one, what is it? Was it Savitar, the big brain guy from?
Yeah.
It's like the one fucking season that isn't a Flash god. It's literally, the problem already exists. We still have to fix it.
And guess what this season theme is? A guy comes from the future because Flash goes bad, and it's another Savitar type thing. Yeah, it's Yeah. Okay, back on topic. Sorry.
Yeah, like this season is yet another galactic disastrous event thing that they have to either find out how to fix, and I'm like, why am I watching Star Trek The Flash?
Well, I see where you're going with that, and I think it's a legitimate lens through which to
Said
critically
lens.
critically view the season. But I think that the difference is the Flash fell into the same formula over and over and over again, and I think that I don't think Discovery is making that that mistake, because they're working very hard to develop these characters and to put them on a path and for us to see the evolution, where the characters on the Flash are basically stuck in the same place again and again and again and again. And I just don't see that happening here.
I mean, that's why I think whatever the hell this thing is going to be another temporal thing, because it moves them into a new scene.
I have a theory.
And instead of Discovery being the anthology where they move from place to place to place on different ships like they originally intended, this is literally the same ship moving through different eras because of shenanigans.
I don't think you're going to move eras. I think they finally settled on an era that works for Discovery.
I agree.
And I think it's I should point out that galaxy-threatening phenomena are nothing new to Trek.
Agreed.
Even when it was episodic. TOS had several, between the giant space amoeba, the Doomsday Machine, the brain parasites that wiped out planets. There are at least a half dozen galaxy-ending threats that they wrapped up in 45 minutes.
And TNG did it too. With they had the warp drive thing, where warp drive was damaging space.
Yeah.
So this sort of threats isn't anything new to Trek. Just with Discovery, that's the overarching drama that the season is about.
Yeah, I think in many ways, I think it's making the plot more important than it needs to be, because look at DS9, which I think we all agree is, like, dramatically it's the best Star Trek series, and part of the reason for that was they had 4 seasons of war. It was like war after war, it was again and again and again, and the reason that worked is because we saw these characters evolve in reaction to what was going on plot-wise. Mm-hmm. And I think if that is a template that if Discovery follows, will make it also similarly very strong.
And what made that work with that was, not only was it episodic with the way they done it, they did it as almost like a background to whatever main story that was going on. It was still there, but they still did original stories within a story. And that's what made DS9 work.
We also saw the escalation of that conflict from Dominion, from exploration of the Gamma Quadrant to First Contact to Cold War to Klingon Civil War, Klingon conflict, Cardassian inclusion, Dominion War. Not to mention Maquis stuff going on in the middle. So that's one of the reasons why that works so well.
Just a little dab of
Do you have any further thoughts?
I don't know how to describe this.
Do your best.
Really well, but like the whole gravimetric distortion thing, it reminds me of all of the computer generated like just video game simulations of what a black hole should look like, just like in normal space. Because there's that obvious like bending of space-time in its visuals.
Yeah. Well, they thought it was a black hole at first, but they thought it was 2 black holes.
Yeah, double black hole.
But it turns out it was not. I mean, it looks like one. I love the visuals they've done for it. It fucking looks amazing. It's what it is. So yeah.
It looks
But-
way better than Beecher did in the motion picture.
Yes.
Oh,
It evolved.
anything more, son?
I don't, so we've had like this. It's weird that we've had like this so little. I don't know. Last season we dealt with a lot of books, sort of backstory, in a way, and then his home planet is now gone. Episode 1 of the next season. Okay, so we're literally only ever going to get his backstory through what, a diary or his memories. Like, that's okay. Why? Like, I mean, you're starting off at like the most extreme point in a character's like story, right? That's I don't know. That something feels off about that.
Well, I think this is what forces Book to, I mean, I think Book would have been that torn between two worlds thing. So I think if you're the writer, you've got to figure out a solution to get Book to stay with the Federation and stay with Burnham, right? I mean, so this kind of does that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that's the case, especially considering they brought up like the little pendant thing. The whole pendant thing. If I remember correctly, the whole pendant thing, him not having his, was because of him being in service to the other
Okay.
during the last season, and him having to serve, him having to serve loyalty to them over like his home planet and stuff. So he really like doesn't have. I mean, he has that strong connection because it's home, but he doesn't really have that huge like pull anymore.
Mm.
It'll be interesting to see what they do.
If Book survives the season.
Oh my God! There we go again. He's the next person on your to-die list.
I think everyone's on Justin's to-die list. He's just bringing it up every opportunity he gets.
So, my thing is, who do you think is going to be the captain for season 5?
I think we have our captain.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that the president's foreshadowing some very heavy shit. Stuff about like recklessness and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think we're going to have the Discovery as we know it. Season 5. I think we
You think they're going to swap everybody to the Voyager J?
I think Discovery. Absolutely.
I think the biggest issue that's going to happen in all of this is like Burnham is way too fucking aggressive in this episode. Like in the opening during the diplomacy stuff, she's fine. But like with the new president, and she's already throwing out motivations for the president's actions and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, Burnham, back the hell off.
Well, she doesn't want she doesn't want the responsibility of the president on her ship. I mean,
especially when she's on a potentially dangerous mission.
Right. I mean, who wants that? I mean, that's like, and so it just seems like, I mean, I agree with Burnham. It seems like she just wants to check the box of like, did the dangerous hero thing on the starship. Check.
A politician is a politician, even in the 31st century.
Right.
Well, even though that turns out to not be her motivation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's
honestly
still
the assumption.
See, here's the thing. I don't honestly think we know what the president's motivations are. I mean, she's already shown to us that she may be lying about a whole bunch of shit.
True.
Yeah.
Well, she's a politician.
Again,
Even the ones we've seen in the 24th century are capable of deception and deceit
Hell,
to achieve their aims.
Every
And the president,
politician and higher official since TOS has been like that. So
in this episode, we saw the president using that skill to placate the officer that had drawn his phaser on Tilly.
Commander Nollis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, interestingly enough, I swear to God, I've seen this actor. I swear to God, I've seen him before. And I went digging through the IMDb for him, and I've never seen any of the stuff that he's acted in, but I remembered that Sean would not shut the hell up about Kim's Convenience because of The Mandalorian. And he's an actor in Kim's Convenience, which I've never fucking seen. So how the hell does this guy look so familiar?
He just got that face.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, no, I think the Madam President is both villain and good guy.
Well, I mean, she's Kardashian, so of course it's got a little bit of that villain there.
Well, don't discount the Bajoran too.
True.
Because she could very well
What?
be in the power race.
Well, what if she's a descendant? What if she's a descendant of Tywin's family?
Oh, good God!
Oh,
I
no,
said
wait a minute.
descendant.
hey guys,
Descendant.
Greg has been waiting very, very patiently.
That's right. That's
Uh-huh.
right.
We know Greg hates it. It's fine.
No, he said he was going to surprise us this week.
Any final thoughts, son?
Mhm. I really like the butterfly. The butterfly people were God.
The monarchs.
I can't get over that. That was just them, like the intro to their planet with the little
That was
butterfly
fucking
breaking
movie
out of
quality.
the cocoon, and then when they suddenly like absorb all the butterflies to help them fly. Holy shit, that was amazing. Do more
And the
of that.
science. It was all sciencey too, because I mean, with the way butterflies fly, they fly by magnetic fields.
Yeah,
And I mean, and it was so cool to see all what the effort they put into that. Yeah, that was very nice. It was a very nice action sequence.
You can do science without doing technobabble. And
One
that's
one
how
of
you
the
do it.
one of the common complaints
Oh.
of the Kurtzman era of Star Trek is that it's too Star Warsy, and I think that that is actually one of the benefits of it. This was very Star Warsy. This was very much a very like big universe type thing that we haven't seen in Star Trek before, and I really liked it.
So Brandon just bring up a good one. It's like, we don't know if Tywin Golden Cod ever had a kid.
She died.
We don't know.
They were only together for a few
I think
months.
pretty much
There
it
was
comes
no
under we don't
time.
care.
And besides, she was probably menopausal at that point.
So wait a minute, you guys are forgetting something. Goldie Cott literally had his entire cult where he was sexing all the girls.
And on that note,
Greg,
thank you very much, son. Greg, thank you for waiting so patiently. What did you think of the episode?
Oh Christ, I hated it. No,
No, really.
God damn it.
So I love that we all saw Star Trek Beyond Darkness Discovery. The callbacks.
You are made of stupid.
The callbacks to the movies are pretty great. The intro was very much reminiscent of Into Darkness and Beyond because it was both comedic and how Kirk and McCoy were running away from the native tribe over a cliff. Burnham makes the joke, and then of course at the same time though they're trying to talk to these people like, yeah, we're your friends. We don't want anything. That is very reminiscent of Kirk talking to, I forgot the species name in Beyond.
Kyle.
Where they're like, oh, we don't trust you, and they attack Kirk. I'm like, I thought that was hilarious. So two good callbacks to those movies. I'm sorry, but Book, you picked a way wrong time to say Grudge is a queen. I 100% Grudge is a queen. She's a great character. Bad timing. I thought that was. So overall, the intro started off great. I do like the president, and I like the confrontation between her and Burnham, but it was very much not a good time and place on the ship. If you're gonna dress her down the way she did after the mission, then do all that there. Now the confrontation was great. Just I was like, even though I don't like Burnham that much, I'm like, don't do it on the bridge, especially when the ship and station are about to be destroyed. Overall, though, another thing that called back to me was with Star Trek, with J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, was the president dressed her down very much the way Pike dressed Kirk down, saying she basically said something like, "You're infallible. You don't believe you can mess up." And Burnham's standing there like, "Yeah, nobody died, or one person died. Not everybody died." And the president's like, "That doesn't matter. You know, you think you can save everybody and you can't." So that dressing down is very similar in that fashion. So I can appreciate that reference going back to Pike dressing down Kirk, and this way we have the president dressing her down.
See, I'm not completely crazy. I'm not the only one that saw it.
No one said you were, and no one disagreed with you. Come
Yeah.
on.
So I like again, bad timing, but the dressing down at the very end was appropriate. I love getting a look at where Saru is helping. Damn it! Oh, Sukal, helping Sukal find his place on Kaminar, because everybody thinks he's gonna erupt again, and he's trying to explain like, no, dude, it's like, no, I can scream right now. Nothing's going to happen. It was the planet in which I was on. So he's finding his place, and that was a tender moment. Sukal sitting there saying, "You are Kelpian, but your heart is not here." So he's like, it's like, you've helped me. I appreciate it. Go back to where you want to be, actually. Not that he does appreciate Saru's hope. It's like, hey, we got that tender moment, and we know and because of the previews, we know Saru is coming back. So I just couldn't tell if he's going to be a commander or an admiral. My guess is admiral.
Or survive the rest of the season.
Oh my god!
Jesus. So we could very well see Admiral Saru. Who knows? But the preview shows he's more or less her first officer, because it's very. I forget the lieutenant's name, the Asian guy, but he's very.
Oh
much
my
Reese.
god!
That's Reese.
Sorry? Reese, thank you. So Reese right now is kind of like the acting XO, if you will, because he was in command when Burnham's off the ship. The whole I know we touched on it, but the whole Stamets Burnham thing, I was like, really got to kind of address that. If it's only been 5 months, the tension's still going to be there. Stamets is going to sit there like, you tried to kill my husband, you tried to kill my adoptive child. It's like, you can't. That's not something you let go of. And yes, I believe Hugh doubles as a counselor. But it takes a lot longer than 5 months to go through that kind of trauma of realizing, basically at that point in time, she just killed my family. I'm going to say this. I'm going to get skewered for it because I've been talking positive about Discovery. Adira is the new Wesley, promoted to ensign without
Yes.
going to be training.
Yes.
You wonder child. You have Stamets sitting there like, Geordi, oh, we're going to do this. Adira pops in like, Wesley, I just figured it out. We're going to do a tractor beam on an asteroid. Adira's like, we're going to do this to the station.
And the whole conflict between her and Tilly and everything is just so reminiscent of Crusher. Yes, I was hoping someone was going to bring that up.
Tilly got a very well-deserved promotion to lieutenant. I hope full lieutenant, not junior grade. Tilly is still one of the bright spots of Discovery. I believe I would like to see her in a commander position eventually. I mean, she handled herself decently as a first officer.
Super happy they didn't throw her in as commander this season.
Yeah,
I'm super happy.
and this is one thing I think that got overlooked. Paul and Hugh, or I don't want to say Hugh, but because of Adira's a liability for Paul and Hugh. The first thing Paul asks about when everybody's getting hurt is, how's Adira? And then asks about everybody else. And I get that. That's his adoptive child. And, that's Adira. But then Hugh does the same thing after everybody's come back from being injured. He's doing his medical assistance. First words out of the mouth, where's Adira? I got to go help Adira. It's like, no, dude, your problem, Adira's right there. Your assignment is to help those in dire need. And granted, he couldn't have saved the commander of the station any quicker. But it's like, I feel Adira, they are a liability for Paul and Hugh. I don't know if that conflict is going to arise. And the same argument can be made for Wesley on the Enterprise, but Picard put Beverly in a place like, you need to calm down, I'll handle this. This time we have two parents going after their child in case Adira gets hurt. I'm a little disappointed when we look at 30 Seconds of Grey. I know they're going to potentially bring Gray into where he has his own body, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was in part. It was in part 1, so we should be able to talk about it.
So
The card thing.
I'm sorry. This went through my head. 30 Seconds of Grey this fall on Lifetime.
oh god.
Oh my God! Why, son?
And
sorry,
my
Grey
head
Call.
went to 30 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Gray. I'm sorry, Ian. Don't hate me. Overall, if I'm gonna, this is the best opening Disco has had as far as the season goes. I liked season 2 because Anson Mount Pike brought that zing, as to basically saying he hopped on Disco's like, hey, by the way, this is my ship now. Burnham is coming into her own as a captain again. The president addressing her down though, saying you're a good captain, but you're no longer the captain we want for this position. So when Burnham found out she was no longer in the running for the Voyager job, Burnham's like, well, I wouldn't have taken it if you offered it. Yes, you would have, Burnham. In a small way, you were very slighted. The president told you, no, we don't want you anymore.
Would she have though? Do you think she would have left Discovery to go to the Voyager J?
She would have left Discovery with her crew to the Voyager. She would have. Her stipulation would have been take my crew with me.
I don't know. I think she sees Discovery as her home. I think getting
argument
her off
there.
that ship would be really hard.
And plus, that's a not lazy writing, but it's called Star Trek Discovery, not Star Trek Voyager. We've already had that.
They would
Well-
rename the Voyager the Discovery.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen.
No.
So, but with the
oh.
president saying, oh, we're basically copying the Spore drive, which is now what the Voyager J is going to have a similar drive. Look on Burnham's face is kind of like, excuse me? And she's sitting like, well, the Federation's building again. We need to help everybody. So they're trying to duplicate the Spore drive, and I don't think Burnham likes that very much. And I'm like, girl, you kind of this is one where it's like, they're going to do it. It's
Well,
going
I
to
mean-
help everybody.
How do you solve the problem of Discovery and the Spore drive, and the fact that eventually something they're gonna have to figure out a way to do it without Stamets or Book controlling the ship, because that's
Right.
technically an ethical violation.
You know how you do that, Justin? It's called programmable matter. It's the new magic sprinkle of Star Trek.
My final point with Disco, Book is one of my top favorite characters. Tilly, Book, up there. They did Book pretty dirty. Like he finally is getting reconciliation with his brother, right?
Yep.
To go see his nephew. Did that very nice ceremony. It's like, and then Book is like, he got that. He got his family back, just to have it ripped away. It's like, okay, you did Book a little dirty. Give him a couple episodes, but I'm interested to see where Book goes. He's gonna have an interesting character arc now because he has experienced loss on an unimaginable scale, much like, can't say much else who's done that. So Book
Spock
has
in the
lost
Kelvin universe.
Spock and Kelvin is right. He watched his planet be destroyed. So it's going to be interesting to see where Book's arc goes. So I'm going to give this episode a very solid 8 out of 10 for an intro.
Holy shit!
That is amazing, and that's actually what I would give it to, is an 8 out of 10.
Like I said, the only thing for me was the whole
9 out of 10.
president. If the president dressing her down was completely off the ship, in where it should be, like in the ready room after the mission or on the starbase, I'd give it higher. As much as I agree with the president being critical of her, you don't do it on the bridge of the ship where she's making laughter decisions.
But does that make the episode? Why does that decrease the episode as opposed to just? I mean, because you have
It's
to realize
part of her character,
right? It's
part of her character is
It
that
is.
she's making that choice. That doesn't make it a bad part of the.
I'm not saying
plot.
bad. I'm saying it's just poor timing. It's just like, okay, get your dressing her down. Do it after.
But then it's not.
Yeah, but it's not painting
drama
the,
anymore.
It's not dramatic. enough.
It's not going to paint the president as. The
I'm sorry.
person
There was more
as.
drama? Sorry, they needed more drama than Detmer taking the ship, basically aligning with the station, spinning, and be like, hey,
They
we
were
need a match.
introducing more drama that is going to build over the course of the season.
And this is my final point. This was done. I don't know when it was done way before the episode. As they premiered episode 1, somebody in the chat, in the Paramount chat, I saw it. I forgot the operations officer. How do you say her name?
Washington.
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 Yeah.
They're like, hey, all right, everybody ready for the Washington Detmer Panover? And then sure enough, Bam, there it goes. They called it. It was great.
All right.
It's classic. It's Chekhov's Sulu. It's all over again.
They're like, "You ready for this pan over?" And then about 10 minutes in, as Detmer's piloting the ship, there it goes.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Greg.
absolutely.
As for me,
Yeah.
there was a lot to like in this episode. It was we started out fun with what would you call it? Recontact? It's not first contact because they've been encountered before. They're the reestablishment, I guess. would be another
Second
word for it.
contact.
No, it's not
We know
second
what
contact.
second
Otherwise, it'd be the
contact is.
Cerritos.
It's not that.
That's right.
What's that, Jason?
It would be second contact, or there'd be the USS Cerritos.
I
No,
think the
they-
diplomatic term for it would be rapprochement.
What?
Rapprochement.
What does that mean?
It means literally it's reapproachment.
Reapproach. Okay, I like that. Say the word one more time.
Rapprochement. It's French.
Rapprochement.
Those French have a different word for everything.
Oh yeah, rendezvous.
Indeed.
That's one of my favorites. Anyway, yeah, there was a lot to like. I like that they have Michael and Book right away trying to reestablish. We get the hero moments of each of the characters. Everybody's working together. From the bridge down to the engineering lab and back again. Curious thing I noticed was that the ship jumped without Stamets being in the tank.
Yes.
That we saw.
I noticed that too.
Kind of weird, but okay.
Where was he?
He was in the engineering lab, but usually when we go to Black Alert, we at least get a scene of him either hopping inside or sticking his hands in the
So
goo.
that was actually something that was established in the first season, and you all probably forgot about it.
Well, no, they can make jumps.
make short distance jumps without needing something in the drive.
Yeah, because he navigates the mycelial network.
But it's
Well, and
incredibly
the other
risky.
thing is, from a filmmaking perspective, just because you don't see something doesn't mean it didn't happen. So
I admitted that.
So if he'd been like on the bridge, then I think that's a big deal. But the fact he was in engineering, there's no need to show it when you're trying to move a plot along.
It was.
I mean, he could have popped out. He could have just popped in, made a jump, and popped out of it, out of the chamber just as quick. I mean,
It was a great scene. It was a great sequence. I loved the resolution where it wasn't definitive. It was ambiguous. That kind of
even with the
a
over the top
amicable
shot.
send off after a tense encounter. The scene at Starfleet's HQ was great. I loved that we got to see the Admiral reunited with his family.
Yeah.
That was absolutely spectacular, and I'm so glad we got that.
And that's
Not
how you
just
get rid of
once,
Odette
but
Fair.
2 or 3 times, and in dialogue. That little slip at the end of season 3 was really, it really got to me, having to have him be separated, finding out that he was separated for so long. So seeing them back was a great bit of continuity for me, and I was very thankful for that.
And especially seeing the daughter,
Yes.
who was, sort of his inspiration for his turnaround on Burnham.
Right. There are some implications I'd like to address with the Federation president. The fact that she is a Bajoran Cardassian it tells me that those two factions are working together now, presumably. But the fact that she's been elected means that I get the feeling that Bajor and Cardassia are a major player in this Federation of the far future.
Well, I mean,
And
that's
that
kind of
with-
what we speculated from the outfits from last season.
Right. The fact that Earth, Vulcan, and Andor, and presumably Tellar as well, the original core worlds of the Federation are now no longer associated with it. The Federation has drifted further into the Alpha Quadrant. And that makes me wonder if the wormhole is still a key axis of the Federation's influence. And do they have an outpost or some kind of presence in the Gamma Quadrant and are still working with, or at least interacting with, the Dominion that far in the future? Just a bit of speculation on my part. Just the implications of having this individual and who she is and what species she belongs to as president of the Federation. That's fascinating for me. I enjoy her character. I like that she challenges Michael. Yes, her challenging her in the middle of the crisis on the bridge is improper, but it fits with her character, and I think it fits with the objectives she was trying to achieve. It did jar me a bit as a veteran, understanding how important the chain of command is and how disastrous disrupting that chain of command can be. But also, it works for the drama of the story, so I'm able to overlook it. There's so much to unpack. Book going home, that tender moment, it was filled with foreboding the whole time. As beautiful as it was, I was waiting for that shoe to drop. The scene of Discovery coming to the rescue is fantastic. I loved how dynamic it was. After so many years of Star Trek just being static ships in static space, ship against ship or ship on planets, with just from TOS through most of DS9 and even some of Voyager, where even after the advent of of CG, there was still a lot of mostly just static shots of ships in space. DS9 really broke the mold on that, so I'm glad to see it go forward. But see that dynamic crisis, space stations are huge. Space stations are enormous. So to see one just freely spinning in space, it immediately makes you clench. And you're like, oh, this is bad. This is very bad.
I like the design of the station too. It was very reminiscent of something that you would see in almost like Elite Dangerous or something like that. It's very cool.
It was very reminiscent of TOS, actually.
Yeah,
just upside down. Remember, they were all walking on the ceiling.
I was about to say, I liked that a highlight of just how bad it was on the station, that when they beamed in, they were standing on the ceiling. So they're having a hard time manipulating controls to try and repair the station.
Can't reach the controls.
The tension on that station was great too. An interesting mirror, the station commander and Burnham, his desperate need to make sure that he got everyone out safe, to the point where he was willing to provoke violence on fellow Starfleet officers. I think that's an interesting bit of foreshadowing, but also, like I said, a mirror to where Burnham could go if she loses control of herself.
Oh yeah, that's good. We don't know. I mean, they just restarted Starfleet Academy, so ain't no telling how many officers they have never went through that type of training, or how long it has been.
Class too.
Yeah, so ain't no telling how long. How many officers didn't go through with that training at all. So I mean, that guy may not have been qualified to be a commander either. I mean,
I felt chills when the Archer thing came on, when she revealed the space dock, and I was heartbroken at the loss of Quai-Jean. I really felt for Book. Just connected with your people only to lose them again. That's just terrible. And with that, I'm going to kick off our speculation on where the season is going to go. I'm going to start out with a bit of a George theory. The gravimetric anomaly is something from the mycelial realm trying to break through. And here's why I think that. In season 2, we were introduced to the indigenous creatures of the mycelial realm, and they said that Discovery's use of the spore drive causes damage to the realm. That was never addressed again.
Yeah.
So I think something from the mycelial realm is trying to break through, and they're causing unintended damage to
Trek has a history
real
of
space.
of not going back on issues they let go.
What? But what if it's
But-
something that the testing they're doing with the new drive that has cost it?
Greg, I couldn't understand what you were saying. What was that?
Well, Trek has a history of doing like something where it's like, oh, this is huge, and then never addressing it again.
That is true.
Like
But
warp drive
Discovery's
travel.
usually done a pretty good job of circling back. Since they went into this intending to be seasonal stories, they're pretty good at looping back and tying up most loose ends.
Most of the time.
Yeah, Georgia is still a pretty
Warp
big one, but we'll see. Hopefully sometime soon.
Season 2 still a big one. The fucking 7 dots, and then they predict 7 more dots. How? Why?
Yeah, that
Oh, the red angel.
you're not going to see that addressed again. But you're correct that that's a
But
really-
anywho,
that's a big problem.
I want to know more about this Pathfinder drive.
see, that's why, and that's where I come in with my George theory. I think we're going to intertwine here a bit because they were hinting strongly with the Voyager J this time about wanting Burnham to be in charge. But well, we already know Discovery is going to be abandoned at some point. We don't know when, we don't know why, but what up this anomaly has to do with space time and something with the mycelial network and Discovery. The only way to stop it is using Discovery, and the crew has to abandon it in order to do it.
I want to know more about this Pathfinder drive. I like that they've circled back again. We've got a Voyager, and we've got a Project Pathfinder involved with Voyager.
It makes total sense.
I like that they talked about the next generation of Spore Drive. I'm interested to hear about what kind of advances they'd have with the drive and how it's and maybe they address the damage to the realm that they talk about through that. I'm eager for more drama between Michael and the president instead of Michael and Vance. I want to know more about the rest of the galaxy. I want to know more about the former core worlds of the Federation. And I know you guys are going to groan at this, but I want to know what happened to the Klingons.
No, what happened to them? We're now, 11 episodes into the future, and we haven't seen them once yet. Come on.
None. Nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
we see a damn Ferengi hybrid thing, but we don't see
We haven't seen them
anything.
yet. Not yet. Not quite yet, anyway.
We see him in the previews.
Yeah.
We see him in the previews. But, I mean, we haven't seen any Romulans. Well, we've seen Romulans. We haven't seen any Klingons, which is very, very odd.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of possibilities. And with this, I'm curious at the focus we're getting on Voyager. We haven't seen an Enterprise yet. Where is it?
Yeah,
But with
Ran
the
out of
focus
letters.
on Voyager, I'm anticipating, maybe expecting more tie-ins to the consequences of Voyager's journey reflected a millennium later. And I'm hoping we get a bit more about what's going on in the DS9 area of influence. We saw a bit of Trill. I want to hear about Ferenginar. I want to hear about Cardassian. I want to hear about Bajor. I want to know what's going on the other side of the wormhole. I don't know if I'm going to get any of these answers, but I'm hopeful. All right.
I don't think we'll be able to get that with the 10 episodes we have of Discovery this season.
We'll see. They covered a lot of ground
it's
last
more
season.
than 10. I think it's
But
more-
like
like
now,
13.
if they do another series, which I totally would expect them to do, set in this timeline after whatever Discovery concludes. I mean, I would love to see all that addressed because this just opens up so much potential for storytelling being in a new timeline.
Just as long as the just as long as the Voyager J has a Janeway hologram.
Maybe.
No,
Maybe.
no.
I think what is interesting about all the references to Voyager is that pre-Voyager, the Enterprise and its various captains and crews and everything, they were like a sort of a central part of the whole Starfleet mythos.
Mhm.
And I think that changes with Voyager because it's basically the Odyssey, of the 24th century, and and the fact that I mean, Janeway is now looked at as essentially like Odysseus. I mean, she's now a legendary figure in a way that sort of where she sort of replaces Kirk in a lot of ways.
Not even Picard got a hologram.
Well, I mean,
Well,
we
look
know
at what
of-
happened to Picard. He left Starfleet under not the best of
well,
circumstances.
didn't he say in Prodigy that she was the most decorated Starfleet officer at this point?
I think they said one of, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, but I think it's more than
Voyager
just
changed
decorated.
a whole hell of a lot for
Yeah.
the Federation.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's more than just being decorated. I think she's a legend, in the way that Kirk used to be a legend.
I mean, yeah, she's brought the Federation defenses against the Borg, information on whatever the hell that experimental starship was that they were trying to use.
The Dauntless.
The Dauntless, that's it.
The Slipstream drive or whatever.
The Tetrion reactor jump gate technology that they seem to have forgotten could exist.
Well, that might be what the Pathfinder's based off of.
The stuff from the future, the armor from the future from the 24th century.
Ablative armor.
Yeah, that's the Borg defenses. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, so I
speculation.
think
There
I'll
is
say my.
The biggest thing with all of that is that, like, she brought not only just so much data on the Delta Quadrant, it's like all the temporal shenanigans that she went through, she's brought so much technology to the Federation. Period.
Ooh.
Well, Jason just had a brainwave. Continue.
Let's hear it, Jason.
The Anomaly is the soul of Tuvix, coming to destroy Janeway's legacy.
Justin, mute him. Or the no.
Well,
the
here's
something.
my
Well,
that leads to my
what?
speculation.
He
Okay,
could
good
be
enough.
Right. He could be right.
That
Remember,
leads me
they
to-
did think it was a twin black hole.
Yeah. That leads me to
Oh, no.
I can't say all of my speculation because part of it is based on what we learned in the second episode. But I will say that I think that it is alive for reasons that you will see in the second episode.
Well, yeah. That's
alive.
why. This is also why I don't think it's V'ger, but I think it might be the result of V'ger.
No, V'ger is no.
Deidre, this was
why
like
not?
1,200 years ago.
Hey, look at it. It's not the first time that something from the past
Well-
has come back to haunt the future. And we never figured out what happened to Alia and Decker after the merger.
Greg, what are your predictions?
Well, based on what Carlos said with the second episode, because I'm one of us who didn't get to see the second episode because of a current child crying right now. I was just say this could have been a result why the Prodigy is taking a break, is that has something to do with the Protostar drive and the Protostar. But
No.
no, Justin, shut up. At least Carlos isn't reacting. You just totally killed it. That was gonna be my theory. As far as the distortion, I think it's a naturally occurring thing, and it's just gonna randomly pop up, much like a. Shut up, Carlos. See, now you're reacting.
No.
Let us have our
Sorry.
speculation, and you can tell us and you can say you told us so next week.
I just think
We
it's
are.
naturally occurring, similar to what Voyager encountered, like that sunspot that popped up. Similar to that is my thinking. Like, it's just got to be something natural, just that's occurring.
We'll talk next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
No,
next
and
week.
just so you know, there is nothing definitive about any of this in the second episode.
Yeah.
What we
It
find
is
out.
very odd.
We find out what happens when they follow up on what you're speculating right now, but that by itself is not definitive. It's just
It's
Yeah,
not
it's not very predictable either. So it'll surprise you whenever you come up with that how not predictable it is. Right, Carlos?
we'll leave it at that. Let's leave it at that.
Pull Polar Knights in my Twitch chat just said, "Sweet Jesus, this is the perfect evolution of beards."
Oh god.
Thank you for completely derailing us. That was
Yeah, I still
son.
I don't
What
know
are
what
your
that
predictions?
There can be only one.
Carlos,
Yes.
look at
Yes.
every other guy here, and then yourself. Clean shaven, short beard, middling beard, bigger beard, biggest beard.
Does Justin have a beard?
A goatee.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Okay.
Yeah, it's the evolution.
Yeah.
Clean
It's
Only about a
shaven
week's
to
growth, by the way.
yeah. So there.
Well, at
Yeah.
least you don't look like babyface Riker anymore, Ross. That was disturbing.
I prefer babyface Ross.
I shave periodically as I like.
And it's
the mask
very
does
scary.
not agree well with the beard, so it's got to go away at some point.
Mhm.
That's the nice thing about it. It grows back.
It's still creepy and unnatural.
Anyway, continue, son, please.
I really do. And yeah, my George theory is that it is some child or something of V'ger.
Oh,
Shut up! Shut up!
Let her speak, please.
Shut up! The whole point of the merging of Decker and Ilea and V'ger was for V'ger to move beyond its original program.
oh.
Bastard could have a kid.
Hey, I actually like that theory now. Yeah, because that's what I said. We've never figured out what happened to Voyager, the Voyager. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's never been addressed ever.
But we also don't really care. I
Do
mean,
we?
nerds care, but it's not like
I'm a nerd and I care.
I know that's what I'm saying. You care because it's this hanging thread, but all it is a thread. It's not really a story point that needs to be resolved. It's more like, oh well, this happened, so gosh, I wonder where that went. But that's not enough.
And Ross is not broken.
What Ross?
I'm
Sorry.
I'm just gonna say
Unrelated.
we're getting
Carl-
Q, and you poo-pooed that
So-
too, Carlos.
Polar Knight said, "Sadly, I can't risk growing a beard because their girlfriend told them if I get a beard, she'd grow a 70s era bush. And after Googling and seeing what that is, I said, Cadley said, can't be unseen. It's babyface for me. It was horrible."
That is disturbing.
Yeah.
But see, we're also, you guys poo-poo this idea of V'ger. I'm not talking about what happened to V'ger. That's not my thinking. My thinking is there was no fucking reason for them to need the Guardian of Forever last season, and we got it anyway.
Well,
True.
there was a need for it. They needed to shuffle off Giorgio.
Yeah. They
done
laid
that
a
anyway.
path to that from early on in the season, and I don't think we're seeing a similar thing here.
Oh, well, I just had an interesting thought. What if the anomalies? Because
we've had how many now? Like temporal anomaly shenanigans and whatnot, and Discovery is literally a ship that can fucking mycelial jump to the planet that has the Klingon time crystals to power a suit to send Giorgio back. And we needed the Guardian of Forever? Really?
Well, but we don't know that same planet is around in the 31st century.
The time crystals only transported something through time with the assist of difficult to replicate and dangerous to use technology.
Yeah, and we never really found out what happens when somebody exits that suit and that suit goes back without them.
yeah, well, yeah, we did because Burnham's mom's alive and well.
But Burnham's mom was still in the suit.
Oh,
Yeah, she was recalled
yeah.
in her own
outside.
suit.
Mhm.
Yeah. I thought she was outside the suit.
No, she was still in the suit.
Yep.
Like there could have been an innumerable possibilities of continuity. That I mean, you didn't have to bring in the Guardian of Forever. Granted, what they did to the Guardian of Forever was awesome. But you didn't need the Guardian of Forever.
No,
Well,
but
You don't need to bring back V'ger. But if you have some massive galactic fucking cataclysm that seems like it's an intelligence, and this is just from the fucking previews. Yeah. Why not have it be like some sort of child of V'ger? Because what did V'ger do? The exact same fucking thing.
We're not on Prodigy.
not yet.
Not yet.
We're still on speculation.
So yeah, I really think it might be like some child of V'ger or whatever, just puttering about space, doing its own thing, not realizing it's causing damage.
Guys, it's midnight where I am.
Yes, I know.
Let's move on to Prodigy. Yeah.
Yeah, let's wrap up our speculation with some quick fire stuff. Carlos, you did yours.
Yeah, I did
Greg,
mine.
done.
I did mine.
Jason,
Based on what we've seen in the trailers and so far, I think it very well could potentially be related to V'ger somehow. So we'll see.
Justin,
I love it when we have a consensus.
No.
Love you be quiet. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking it could be a V'ger related thing. It not maybe V'ger per se, but definitely close. You know, I'm excited to see how this goes out so far. I think we're also getting a new ship at the end of the season.
No.
No.
Yeah,
I just
Yeah,
That's
I
like
did
saying
agree.
in Enterprise you would get a new ship, or in the
I
original
mean,
series,
we
you
got
get
a new
ship.
Discovery at the end of the other season, the Discovery A. I mean, we're already one letter in, so
Well,
the same ship.
It's
just
the
with a
same ship.
retouch.
They added the A so that people wouldn't figure out that they broke the temporal accords.
But I mean, how do you solve so many problems the Discovery brings? I mean, you sacrifice it to stop the anomaly.
All right, let's wrap this up. We're all pretty excited about Discovery Season 4. There's so many possibilities and potentials for interesting story, drama, and technobabble hijinks, and I'm really excited to get into it next week. But it's time to move on for our second Star Trek review. It's been 27 years since we've been able to talk about two concurrently running Star Trek shows.
22.
Huh?
22.
22.
27 was Generation.
27 was for Generations. 22 years was was the last time that we had two Star Trek ships on the air.
Thank you. And it works this time because they're not being run on two different channels a half an hour apart.
UPN.
Oh, boy. It
United
is not competing
Pointless
against
Network.
itself. Anyway, Star Trek Prodigy. Last week we left off with the intrepid, barely competent crew being stranded on a hostile world intent on eating them, their equipment, and everything else it can get its grubby little vines on. Faced with the prospect of being stranded on this planet and having to get back to their ship, we are left with an ominous view of the sunset. This episode picks up with Janeway still functional on board a intact protostar, getting in touch with the crew via the runaway and giving them instructions on how to get back to the ship. Unfortunately, the entire planet is working against them. It's not just the fauna that is aggressive. The whole world itself reshapes in order to impede their path. And their work through this jungle that they're trying to make it through is met with setback after setback as the very landmarks they're using to navigate reshape to disorient them. Until they come across a wrecked Klingon ship. We get Klingons sort of in Prodigy before we got them in Discovery.
Which is very weird, considering this is the Delta Quadrant and there's a wrecked Klingon ship.
We saw Klingons in the Delta Quadrant in Voyager.
Yes, we did.
Mhm.
Stovecore.
Yeah, true.
We saw a lot of things left over from the Alpha Quadrant in the Delta Quadrant because of the Caretaker. This area of space, there's probably a lot of Alpha and Beta Quadrant leftovers. Anyway. They make camp for the night, and they begin to make their peace with Gwen. She is stranded with them. She is capable and competent and is able to navigate using her survival instincts. They scavenge food and supplies from the ship and make their way further when they're encountered what they believe is another mirage set about by the planet. But oops, oh no, it's the real Machine Man. What was his name again? I forget.
The Diviner.
No, not the Diviner.
Dreadnought.
Dreadnought. Yes.
Right. His right-hand guy.
General Grievous.
Oh yeah, thank you, thank you. I said that last week. I called him Grievous 2.0.
He's not Grievous. He's a
He is
Necron
Grievous
destroyer.
without the lightsabers.
It looks just like him.
He's General Edgy Boy. That's what he is. Black and red.
All right. He gives chase, and Dal tells everyone to scatter. They run for cover, and Dal looks back only to see that his crew has actually followed him instead of scattering. But at the same time, Gwen is injured and left behind. The Diviner beams down to find the ship and encounters Gwen. Seeing his prize before him and looking back to his progeny, he regretfully makes his decision and moves for the ship. And Gwen is slowly consumed by the vines. The rest of the crew successfully make it back to the ship just in time as the vines are really wreaking havoc on the ship. Janeway does her best to divert power, but something is siphoning most of the reserves away. The experimental protostar containment. What might this namesake device be? They manage to break free the vines, rescue Gwen, but oh no, the Diviner is in pursuit. He makes a final plea to Gwen to return the ship, surrender, so that her friends might be saved. But she's having none of it. He chose the ship over her. She commands the protostar containment be activated. The nacelles fold down, the big barrel pops out of the back of the ship, and they engage at ludicrous speed. And they are gone from the Diviner's grasp.
They've gone plaid.
I was waiting for someone to say that.
I do not disappoint. So there was a lot of fun in this episode, seeing them all come together in this crucible, this trial by fire, this desperate survival scenario.
You forgot the best part of this episode.
What's that?
The betrayal.
Well, yeah.
The Diviner, it seems like the Diviner is going to get to the Protostar first, and guess who arrives? It's the kiddos on the real Protostar, and the Diviner's been staring at the planet, fucking with him the whole time.
A massive assembly of vines.
How many of you assumed that as soon as he saw the Protostar?
Yep, that
I knew it was the planet fucking with him.
Yeah.
Still, it was a great reveal.
No, it was. I mean, I think it was, knowing this is a kids show, I think it was fine. It was just.
It was. This is like I just knew the second set of the planet, knowing the planet is saying, "We're going to show you your desire." And what's his desire? The Protostar.
Yeah. Yep. I gotta love how they kept arguing over the name of the planet, eventually settling on Murder Planet.
I like Larry.
And it's interesting that originally, when we saw the first part of this episode last week, that we thought it was just the flora that was hostile, that was consuming everything. But in this episode, it was further elaborated that it's the entire planet that's a living being. Everything about this world is a lure that brings people and ships and material to the planet so it can consume it. It's an interesting idea that we've seen before in Trek, but this is the first time it's been used in this manner, and I really like what they did with that. I like that they're continuing to deal with the hallucinations that they saw, the expressions of their desires, and the fact that they dealing with something that can exploit them like that, not just their desires, but also their fears. It made for a really interesting episode that had some pretty serious stakes that, despite being a show designed for kids, doesn't pull its punches. What did you guys think? Let's start with Jason.
Well, I think you kind of nailed it on the head. I mean, this is a kid's show, and you don't expect Murder Planet to be eating people. We saw development with Gwen. We saw Gwen now becoming part of the crew, right? We saw Gwen emerging as the leader, which is really what I wanted, because Dal is not the leader. Dal is, I think the part that's made me most frustrated about these 5 episodes, or the previous 4 episodes, is I just wanted to go through my TV and punch Dal in the head, and because he's just extremely frustrating.
He's just like Burnham.
No, because Burnham has, because at least Burnham has some, even though she may make bad choices, those choices are rooted in her interpretation of Federation ideals and her interpretation of her principles and stuff. Dal has no principles. He has no, like in the first episode, you kind of introduced to this kid.
Jason, it was a joke. Take it like one.
I know. In the first episode, I haven't got a chance to talk about this show yet, but in the first episode, Dal is like, you kind of get introduced, he's kind of starry-eyed and hopeful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of crush that in episode 2 when they show how much of a miserable leader he is and all that stuff. But no, I mean, I thought this was a really good episode. I like that we're seeing the humanity of Gwen. I like that we saw the humanity of Dal. I liked where it's going. Well, I'm interested to see what the protostar is. Where
and why they don't use transporters.
They probably don't know they got them yet.
Yeah, I definitely think the transporter thing is a question. I also think that that the ship may be designed to land for reasons unknown. I also like the idea of like the ship kind of reminds me a little bit of the Destiny from Stargate universe, a little bit, kind of doing its own thing. So I don't know. I'm excited for more. I'm kind of bummed that we won't get any more until after we get through Strange New Worlds, it seems. So.
Wait, what?
So now there's a hiatus. So next.
Yeah, but it's only until next year.
Yeah, when
After
Discovery ends, Prodigy's coming back.
No, it's going to be Prodigy. After Discovery ends, it'll be Picard, and then it'll be Strange New Worlds, and then it'll be the next 10 episodes or next 5 episodes of Prodigy.
I didn't know about that. That makes me sad.
I thought, okay.
That's how it goes. Yeah. According to Google, we got episodes coming up next week.
According to Google.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the second half.
Yeah, it's the second half. I mean,
yeah, we get 5 more episodes in January or February.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the second half of Prodigy, we get after Picard.
Right. Yeah, way after Strange New Worlds of Picard. Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts, Jason?
I just want to see some tribbles.
Apparently,
All
we're
right.
going to be insufficient trouble. Okay.
So, Carlos, like Jason, you haven't been with us in our discussion about Prodigy so far. I'd like to hear about your thoughts of the series overall, in addition to this episode.
Sure. Overall, I think it's great, and I'm always intrigued by the people who don't like any new Star Trek, and not just you, Greg, but I really am interested in the psychology behind in what seems to me kind of a reflexive dislike of new Star Trek. Also, not totally directed at you, Greg, but my point it's actually more pointed at my my Harumfian friend David O'Neill, my corpulent companion. who published a post on Facebook today, who was just saying that both Prodigy and this season of Discovery are huge letdowns for him, and that he's looking at giving up on all of Star Trek because of them. And I'm trying to understand that because I don't see. Pardon?
After one episode
of Disco?
Yeah. I mean, he sees it as, a continuous line since its premiere, since season 1. And I'm just trying to get a handle on what it is folks like this think Star Trek is, and beyond, and I feel like it's just nostalgia. It's like it's not what I'm used to, therefore it's bad.
Well, see, we've had this ever since TNG was a thing. Do you remember, Carlos, when TNG premiered? It was the same exact thing.
Yeah, but this is going beyond the premiere. This is persistent. TNG became beloved by the time you got to its third or fourth season.
But there's still people that hate TNG.
Well, yeah, but they're nothing. I mean, they're not a force. The people who dislike Kelvin Trek, who dislike Discovery, who dislike Prodigy, they're I believe a minority, but a very vocal minority. And and there's a lot that you read in the fan press out there on the web that sort of takes for granted that all fans feel this way, which is preposterous because it's not true. These are successful series, and they're getting renewed, and they wouldn't be getting renewed if they weren't successful.
It's because it's checking boxes.
Well, so far, Discovery has not been renewed for season 5.
You're a little close to your mic there. Careful, Justin.
Yeah, I mean that means nothing. I'm assuming that was a joke.
Well, no, it's actually concerning because they've been.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
They've been renewing them since they've started so far. I mean, they gave us the renewal notice for season 3.
You're starting to sound like me, and I'm sitting.
I'm actually worried though because they renewed, and because one of their editors was posting on Twitter that he's having to look for a job for the first time in 3 years.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
Because usually the season's already renewed by the time this one premieres. They've already announced, well, season 5 is coming. So
yes, but you might have forgotten that in the middle there was a global pandemic.
They still did it with Prodigy. They did. They've already announced season 2 of Prodigy. They already announced the next season of Lower Decks.
Because you can stay home and record your lines. That's why Lower Decks is being already greenlit, because you can stay home and record your lines.
They did it with season 3 of Discovery.
Well, they're probably
season 2.
They're doing Picard back to back.
Yep.
Yes.
They've already greenlit Strange New World season 2. So they're probably giving legs to some of these other shows. I think we'll see a season 5 Discovery. I think so too.
It might be later than we want.
I think what you have to remember though is that it's now a mature series, and mature series become exponentially more costly, which means that the financial calculus that the studio has to use in 5 seasons in is very, very, very different from the calculus they're using in right after a premiere or even in a second season, because the stakes just aren't as high. Well, 4 seasons in, the stakes are much higher. Actors usually are guaranteed raises at a certain point. That everything becomes more expensive. And that's why you're not seeing these instant renewals like you did in previous seasons, just because they really have to see if it's going to be successful enough to warrant committing that much money for the future. And so in a lot of ways, the studio is acting perfectly normally. You're trying to take something that is abnormal, which is early renewal of seasons, and normalizing it when that's just not the case.
Well, it's been the normal since season 1 of Discovery. They announced season 2, and
yes, and I just explained to you why it's different.
Well,
fundamentally different.
they announced season 2 until like halfway through season
That's right.
1.
And remember, they didn't announce season 4 until quite a ways into season 3, because there were
Season
people
3 had
speculating that, just as you are, that because it hadn't been announced yet means it was, what was it? Internally
ended
canceled.
by the time they announced season 4. Didn't it?
Oh, that's that line. That
Internally
line.
I didn't see it. I was just concerned that it hadn't been renewed yet.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Michelle Perry,
back-
and when they wrapped on season 4 back in August, they talked about Michelle Paradise tweeted about turning off the lights and leaving the stages in good hands until next time. So I mean, I think that it's I have no concerns about this show being renewed. I think that it will be renewed. The announcement's just a matter of timing. What event do you announce it at? I mean, that's really kind of where these things are now.
So what you're getting
Carlos,
at,
back to
Carlos,
Prodigy.
Yes.
Yeah. So Prodigy, I think, does everything it's supposed to, that it needs to attract a new, younger audience, and it's got compelling characters that act like kids. It's very adventurous, and in a lot of ways, it's got a same feel as the original series, even though it is still more, it's not totally episodic like
it
TOS
feels
was.
more like the animated series in a way.
Except the animated series was silly.
That was so cheesy.
Yeah, and this isn't.
It's absolutely cheesy.
No, it's
You literally have a Tellarite who's dipping his fucking helmet into a soup thing to drink from it.
Whose name is Jenkum.
Pog.
Jenkum Pog. I like that. Yeah, no, I mean, I was a kid in the 70s when the original, when the animated series was on, and even then we thought it was cheesy. So, I think kids today are seeing something
Spoiled.
different in
Well,
Prodigy.
yeah, I'm not the oldest one here for a change. Carlos is back. Yay!
So anyway, so I think it's effective in a lot of ways. I think the characters are compelling. I really want to know. They're all flawed in some really interesting sort of adolescent ways, which is cool. And I think that will, the kids that are being targeted here, the Nickelodeon age kids, are going to really gravitate to that. But it also has plenty of what we expect Star Trek to be in there, starting with Janeway. She represents a lot of what we think of as, more typical Starfleet. And, for kids today, Janeway's probably someone their parents referred to, because their parents were probably kids, adolescents at the time that Voyager was on. So it all makes sense that it would be Janeway we see, as opposed to a Spock or a Kirk, or those are old men to kids today, and they have no connection to them, but they grew up hearing their parents talk about Voyager. And so I think that was a very good assumption for the creative team here to make, which brings me now to Janeway. I love the idea of Janeway. I like the Janeway command hologram. I think they tread, too much towards maybe her being kind of this Deus ex machina for this. I mean, I know she's only supposed to be able to control lower level systems, and and in this episode, episode 5, we do see her use a lower level system to solve a problem. But we're seeing sort of command level decision making by a hologram, and I'm just not sure if that's what we should be seeing in a hologram that's supposed to be more supporting than that. I guess if they were growing towards that as she becomes more sort of fully sentient, the way we saw the Doctor become more fully sentient and independent in Voyager.
Well, she's already showing signs of that.
Well, yeah, of course, but it's just the evolution's happening a little too quickly, I think. And from a story point of view, I just don't want it I don't want her to be the way that they get saved all the time. And I just hope that they're going to be careful about that.
Okay,
All
so
right.
I have a question I've wanted to ask for the past couple episodes, and I keep forgetting to ask every
Let's hear it.
freaking time. Is this the first time we have had a Janeway, any Janeway, do the to boldly go where no one has gone before kind of
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
You mean to use those words?
Yeah, because when she is introducing the kids to the ship and the
Yeah.
Federation, she like blatantly uses kind of that mission
Yeah.
statement.
Well, and
Let's
we
make-
saw that in Discovery too with the president. You know,
Well,
when the
sure, but I'm getting at this is the first time we've seen Janeway say that.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
kind of
another
Janeway.
captain other than
Well,
Kirk or Picard.
Picard.
She never said those words, but she's used phrases in spirit of that
Sure.
during Voyager, like when she talked to Harry, that weird is part of the job.
Well,
yeah, that's
sure.
hardly the same thing. That's
But that's-
really
No, no,
colloquial.
It's not the
Okay,
same thing.
I know
but
where
it's the
Sun,
same-
I
it's
know
in
where Sun's
spirit.
going. Other than Picard and Pike, no other captain in the series has ever said to explore strange new worlds. No other captain has ever said that entire quote.
And Kirk,
Yeah, Kirk and Picard.
you said Picard and Pike.
Like,
Oh, my bad. Kirk. and
Turn in your card, Greg.
But yeah, no.
that's because Janeway wasn't
mean-
boldly going where no one's gone before. She
I
was
mean,
boldly going
listen,
home.
Yeah, she was boldly trying to get home.
I swear, even Cisco had said it at one point.
Did he?
In
Sure.
Deep Space
Except,
Nine.
except Cisco is boldly going in circles
I'm
around
not
these
sure that
nine.
I don't think he gave the whole monologue, and Janeway certainly didn't give like the whole monologue. But like I remember him saying something to that effect, you know. But I don't ever remember hearing Janeway give that speech, like even in bits and pieces. And it,
Yeah, I don't.
really
Yeah, because
stood out
I
to me.
don't think that was her role in Voyager. I
Yeah.
think that thematically, her whole thing was we have to remain true to Starfleet's ideals.
And
Um,
kill
and-
kill the Tuvix.
Remain Starfleet.
And
yeah,
kill Tuvix.
remain Starfleet. Yeah, so I think that was her theme. That was like her personal theme.
Mhm.
So, you know, the ideals of Starfleet do in fact include exploration, but
And killing
as,
Tuvix.
as Jason put it, yeah, killing Tuvix, and as Jason put it, she wasn't trying to explore; she was trying to get home, but exploring along the way because that is what Starfleet does. And we had several episodes, many episodes,
This is-
where they would veer off to check something out because they felt
Yeah.
they should.
This is also the first time it's been stated that it's a mission directive to veer off course and explore a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Voyager only veered off because she needed dilithium for coffee.
No,
Is that how they make coffee?
She didn't need the dilithium for coffee. She needed the deuterium for
Oh,
coffee.
the deuterium for coffee. Yeah.
That's right.
And baby food.
She needed the dilithium to catalyze the warp drive.
All
right.
All right. Thank you, Carlos. Or Son, thank you. Justin, let's hear from you.
That was Carlos, though.
Yes, but losing track. We're all over the place.
Yes, we are. Justin.
Okay, so I love the episode. I love to see Gwen finally taking, which I hope is going to be her role going forward, because like others, I can't really stand Dal as, you know, the de facto captain. No, just no. He's not. No, not yet, anyways.
He's really bad at it.
Yeah. Gwen, though, you know, she has the whole motif. So I'm thinking now that she's finally come into her own a little bit, we're really going to see the series take off when it finally returns next year for the next 5 episodes because of a weird ass break. But, you know, hey, whatever. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's fantastic. and what?
Yeah, I think my theory on why
Cross Twitch.
I think the reason that we're seeing this hiatus after the 5 episodes are a couple. One is Paramount Plus needs to get its the value out of season 4 of Discovery, and they don't want to fritter away things that will retain an audience. Because remember that ratings are not what determine success for a streaming platform. It's retention on subscriptions.
Yeah, well, that. And
So if you're able to, the more you have 2 series overlap, the less you're creating a long-term demand for retention of subscriptions. So that's, I think, part of the reason why you're seeing that happen here. You saw 1 week overlap just because that way you're kind of giving fans a double dip 1 week, but that's just, again, it's like heroin. The first dose is free.
Maybe that's why they did it, because of the whole subscription thing and trying to get the international audiences resubscribe.
Well, that's a whole separate thing, and we should talk about that at some point today. But that's a different calculation. And the second aspect of why we're seeing this hiatus is simply the holidays. We see mid-season breaks like this now all the time, where they wrap something up in November and we don't see them again until mid-January or later, or February. So that's what we're seeing here. This one is going to last 6 weeks. That takes us through at least half of half of Discovery's season, and my guess is we're going to see a mid-season break for Discovery as well, because I think we've seen that in every season.
Do you think it could be an editing issue, or they've got to edit more episodes together? That's why they had to take a break? Or...
No, I think it's purely the fact that they need eyeballs, and you've got fewer of them during the holidays. People are just too distracted.
Toss the ball around.
Ross playing with his balls again.
Are you being commanded by your Twitch viewers again?
I am being compelled by my
Sorry,
Twitch viewers.
Commanded.
I choose to do these things if the points are redeemed.
Command.
So, has anyone not spoken about Prodigy yet? Greg?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Didn't hate this episode. I'm just shut up, Justin. I've liked Prodigy.
Holy shit.
Like Prodigy. This episode was really good for I'm going to call it a quarter season finale. Was pretty well done. Doll is coming around at 90%. Doll's coming around, and I'm agreeing with Carlos. Gwen is going to kind of, my hope was she was going to be the captain anyway, if you will. She's going to kind of assume that command role just because she knows the protostar inside and out because of her dad. So she knows that she's been trained to use the ship. The protostar is going to be her ship, and then she's going to help Janeway train the rest of them. The protostar, turns out we were kind of all right. We knew that because of the intro, the protostar was going to have this new form of travel. We all thought it was slipstream. Well, they're harnessing a protostar in the damn drive. So that third nacelle is basically, hey, we're going to use a protostar to propel ourselves faster than warp, and that's what the show ends on.
We don't know if it's faster than warp so much as it is faster warp.
Well, anyway, Carlos, but it is a new form of propulsion, and Travis is going to get a kick out of it when he goes back because third nacelle.
Oh, God.
But
Travis knows all about those certain cells.
So there was a couple things though. I love the Janeway hologram basically being like, okay, what do I do? And then I love it where she pulls a WWJD. What would the real Janeway
So many Christians with a tattoo are regretting their decision right now.
What would Janeway do? So I love that she's just like, oh, divert power from the system. She realizes we can't access protostar. But it's like, okay, let's start with the food replicators and go from there. So she very much becomes our Janeway in a way. Does really well. Gwen coming in her own, realizing her dad picked the ship over her. So Gwen's like, I'm done. And a couple of things I love. So Dreadnought isn't just now a funny General Grievous knockoff, if you will. Did anybody catch the Lord of the Rings reference?
I
So when
don't
it-
care
okay,
about
so-
Lord of the Rings, so
Okay,
no.
somebody mute Justin. So when they run from Dreadnought and they hide under the tree, that is very much
Yes.
a Fellowship of the Ring, and then Dreadnought looking very much like a ring wraith, hand over the log, looking around and not finding them. I'm like, that's a Lord of the Rings reference up the ass right there. So Dreadnought became a ring wraith, and then now we have the Fellowship of the Protostar. There we go. I thought it was a cool little callback. Leia caught it immediately. She's like, that looked like Lord of the Rings. I love that. The title sequence was changed. I told this to Justin earlier. If anybody caught
I
that,
didn't notice that.
okay, it's a very subtle change. Now, the title sequence runs through the way it did in the first part. It was at the end, but now it's at the intro, obviously. Every time though it went through, it said Kate Mulgrew as Captain Janeway. This episode they changed it. Kate Mulgrew as hologram Janeway. So they corrected the captain to hologram, and I thought I was like, okay, you cheeky bastard.
And now all the characters are also superimposed. If you look at the title of Prodigy, you can see each of the characters in the word. And
Oh no,
each letter.
that's been a thing. Like that was
It's
in the
only
last
been
episodes.
Was
That's
it?
what
They've been
Titans
flying
does.
through aspects of each character. You see Zero's eyes. You've got Jenkum's metal arm. You've got there's little bits of each character as they as they go through the fly through.
And for the damn life of it, Murph needs to quit ruining the episodes. All right, he's already ruined. If anybody
He's
else
a damn chattermouth.
exactly, he doesn't shut up. He keeps ruining it. My favorite character coming in was Gwen. I loved Ella Purnell. I love that she's voicing this character. My second favorite character though is Zero. I mean, hands down, Zero. It's just taking it as it comes. So Zero's like, "Oh, we're doing this. Okay. Oh, I'm piloting the ship. Okay."
I don't really know how to do that, but okay.
Exactly.
No, I agree with you. I actually like, and I think that Zero's being underused.
And I love Zero. Yes, Zero's being underused because at the same time, Zero's like, "Oh, well, let me check with the planet. Oh, the planet really does want to eat us."
That one went by really quick, but I appreciated that one too.
And then, of course, them coming across the Klingon, and Jacob Pogg's like, "This Klingon food isn't bad," and it's just he's eating gawk. I'm like, "Oh God,
Long dead gawk.
long dead." Yes, that gawk is ooh. But I love the episode. So again, like I think we all are. We're just disappointed it's just taking a little bit of a hiatus because then get Discovery, okay.
Which
but
is not bad start this series.
So far not a bad start. So looking forward when Prodigy returns. I'll give this one a 9 out of 10. I love to see where Prodigy's going to go from here. So, yeah.
Who are you a variant?
We've been over this. I am a variant.
You are a variant.
Apparently, you're
right.
nasty, dirty variant.
So I would like to bring up a thing that I think is kind of important, but I don't think any of you have caught yet. The Protostar drive
Yes.
and its astronomical energy requirements would mimic everything that the Romulans have in a singularity.
Mhm.
I thought of that too.
Yeah, I thought of it too.
In a way,
In the
but that's why they have 2 warp cores in order to power the containment that holds that
Right.
protostar in place.
Right. See, that's because that's the other thing. The Protostar doesn't seem to be putting off the power that like a Romulan singularity drive would to power just the Romulan ship itself. It's literally just used as a giant warp boost.
From what I've gathered of this episode, it looks like this is just a brute force engine. It's essentially the Protostar drive turns the ship into a rocket, and the Protostar is the fuel that is ejecting out the back.
Hey,
They
you remember how the Defiant had so much firepower it could literally rip itself apart?
So far,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, this is the other end of that. It's got so much engine power it could fly itself apart.
Wow.
I think they've
It's
corrected
like
that,
they just
though.
fold the nacelles down, open up a bit of the containment in the back, and let the stellar ejecta propel the ship faster than light. That's
Well,
what
I
it looks
mean,
like
as,
to me.
as
Let's see what
long
the
as it
actual techno
doesn't turn
battle
them
is.
in, as long as it doesn't turn them into lizards, I guess
Not
it's
gonna
okay.
turn them into lizards.
The protostar so from a physics standpoint, the protostar concept is an interesting one. To harness that kind of energy and not completely obliterate anything within a couple light years is interesting. Now, of course, there's going to be technobabble, but from like I said, from the physics standpoint, it's interesting. It's not totally impossible to use an energy source like that. Considering that we can technically build the Starship Enterprise today, so the protostar drive is completely feasible from what I'm looking at.
So, you're talking about the physics. It takes 8 seconds for the light from the sun to reach the Earth. That's a huge fucking
8
distance.
minutes.
It's a
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh well, even at 8 minutes, that's a huge fucking distance to cross in only 8 minutes. And what you're doing with the protostar is essentially adding light speed travel to warp.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Well,
fascinating.
we don't actually know what it is.
We know that warp 1 is speed of light. After that, it just gets weird.
No, I mean, we don't know what really the protostar drive
right.
does.
Mhm.
I mean, we hear them refer to it as like a turbo boost or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so we don't know, is that within warp space or is it something entirely different?
Right, exactly.
So it's hard to say at this point.
It's hyperdrive while you're going warp speed.
And they're going plaid. They just got all 3.
All right. That any other final thoughts on this episode of Prodigy before we move on?
More
The
I love Murph.
protostar drive is quite literally the Mega Maid. It sucks all that energy and then blows.
There it is.
God damn it!
And Jason Mazukis as Jake and Pog is awesome. I called
Jacob
it.
Pog
I
likes
love
this.
Jake and Pog.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
disappointed. Hold on, I'm disappointed in every one of you. Rock Talk needs some love.
Yes.
Oh, I love Rock Talk. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I find each of these characters compelling in their own way.
Yes.
Including Murph. Sorry,
if
I don't know what your deal
but
with
one
Murph is,
thing-
but
I'll
I
say this
like
about Rock. I felt bad. This is a glossed over moment with Rock. She's like, all those little furries loved me, and they didn't care what I looked like. That was glossed over.
Yeah.
Like I felt for her. I'm like, but it's like you got your crew, like Doll, Jacob. They don't care what you look like. They like you. But it's like that was so like quick. I'm like, ow, that hurt.
She makes me sad because of like you just said, Greg. Like she just like she has a very like seeming like low self-esteem, and
Yes.
and like really like she knows like the things that Dal does is wrong and going to hurt them, and yet she just goes along with it anyway. And a lot of that is like, like, I mean, not to sound like really like psychological, but like she'd be like the abused girlfriend in a relationship that,
I think what I'd really like to see, because it'd be what I would do, so I'd really like to see Janeway just like conversing with Rock Talk in the mess hall, and like every time there's a dinner or something, Janeway is replicating something new for Rock Talk to try.
I like that. I think that would be an excellent kind of.
Here's
to
Janeway.
me, that's a great use of the Janeway hologram.
Here's
is
Janeway.
to be a mentor in that way.
Here, Rock Talk, try this. It's coffee. Now here's decaf.
All
No,
right.
you start with the decaf.
I did
Think
think we would
that-
say Hikuchimoya by now at this point, and I'm disappointed we haven't.
It's going to happen. It's
See,
going to happen.
I swear to God, I for some strange reason in my head, I think that fucking robot is what's left of Chakotay.
Well, we know he's going to be in the series, so
Thank you guys so much for your thoughts on Prodigy. It's sad that we're gonna have to wait for a few episodes, but it's something to look forward to.
6 weeks will go by really fast. It's the holidays. We'll get
And
distracted
we have,
before
and
we
we have
know it.
Discovery.
We
And
do
we
have
have
Discovery in the meantime.
And we get fat next week. So I mean, hey, it worked out.
I wanted to talk about Spider-Man tonight, but we are really short on time, as expected, with 2 episodes of Star Trek to gush about. So let's jump into the Actilist, Sunseal's ongoing coverage of the controversy and meltdown of Activision Blizzard. There was some big news this week, wasn't there, son?
Yeah, there was some really big news. The Wall Street Journal, of all things, did an expose on Mr. Robert Kotick and the dealings going on at Activision Blizzard. And aside from the stuff we already knew, that like he knew stuff was going on, we got details on him actually facilitating the cover-up of abuses. Oh boy. Not only did we get details of him covering up the abuses, we got an incident in which he threatened to kill an assistant. I have never seen a protest form and walk out of any company that fast. In under 2 hours of the article's posting, over 100 employees had walked out of the Activision Blizzard building in protest. Yeah. And I said this last time, and I think everybody kind of agreed with it. There's no way Activision Blizzard survives with Mr. Kotick at the helm, period.
Nope.
And with this coming to light, there's no way he stays the head of that company and it survive for much longer. Especially, I mean, and here's the thing. The board of directors, as much as people are dogging the board of directors are doing their job. They're defending their CEO. That's what they're supposed to do. So as much flack as they're taking, they're doing what they're kind of obligated to do. But at this point, there's just so much there that something's got to give. Something is going to have to give.
Their job is to fire the CEO. Like if the CEO is causing damage to the brand, damage to the company, they should be firing him. I mean, like, I've been through this with my company, and when the CEO is no longer able to lead the company for whatever reason, their job was to tell the CEO that it was time for him to leave. And so, I mean, based on what I understand of what's going on, and I have to be careful how I say stuff because, well, that's the way business works sometimes. If a board believes that the CEO is preventing the company from succeeding, it's the board's job to say, okay, we need to come up with an exit strategy for you. Now, publicly, they could be supporting him. That's one thing, but really, it's the board's job to show him the door. Sure.
I think the next quarterly earnings report will make or break what the directors do. Especially this expose actually goes deeper into the whether or not Mr. Kotick shared the information he was supposed to with his shareholders during those meetings. Turns out he wasn't. Like we all knew he wasn't. He wasn't sharing how many sexual allegations were being made, what it was costing the company, and all this kind of stuff. And this whole expose article kind of reinforces what I said for the past couple of weeks about the zero tolerance policy. A zero tolerance policy under someone like Robert Kotick would be a "you're both fired" strategy, just like it was when they started implementing zero tolerance bullying in school. It's a "you're both going to detention." So you're still going to have devotees. I mean, like, for the strangest reason I cannot comprehend, there's a whole bunch of accessibility activists who are falling over themselves to continue promoting Blizzard stuff because accessibility, when all of this stuff is not even writing on the wall, it's writing in blood on the wall. Yeah, no, people are just outright leaving Activision. There are people who didn't know about the controversy who picked up one of the new Call of Duty games. And this article coming to light blew up everywhere, and now people are asking for refunds.
Yep.
All right.
So
It's- yeah, it's a shit show
Mm-hmm.
of the highest order.
Speaking of the highest orders, Greg had to step away for the rest of the night. Thank you, Greg, for joining us. Have a great night.
I imagine this is going to reopen several investigations that might have been settled.
Quite possibly. Especially ones that might have been settled for only $18 million.
A fraction of Mr. Kotick's annual earnings, in fact.
Hopefully, soon to be former earnings.
A little less than half of the minimum that he said he was giving himself this year.
Giving himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can do that, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. He could, as CEO, he can literally cut his own pay, and that's what he chose to do to solve the problem, is take the minimum salary a CEO can in California. It's like, you really think that taking 6,400? I can't remember. It's like
64,000.
You really think that this small little salary for the year is going to make up for all the shit that you've been a part of? And now that we know you were actively fucking involved in covering some of this shit up, yeah, you really think this is... No.
All right. Anything else, son?
There was some rumblings about stuff happening over at I think it's Rockstar because of the GTA trilogy remaster.
I'd love to talk about that too, but that would take another hour.
Look, I only saw one fucking picture, and it's like the original game, and then it's the remaster, and it's of this donut shop called like Nuts or something or other. So it's like a donut shop, and then it has a little lug nut, right?
Okay,
Long story short, it looks like the Rockstar used the bare minimum of effort and absolutely no QA in an AI-driven remaster, an upscale of the game from its mobile versions, and then took the original game off of the Steam library. Since then, after the backlash, the refunds, and the less than 1 score on Metacritic, it is now the lowest scoring game ever, lower than Cyberpunk 2020 and several other incredibly bad games. Rockstar has officially apologized, pulled the definitive edition, and reinstated the original games back to Steam and other marketplaces. So we'll see what happens there. That's the short version of it. But let's wrap things up tonight with a little fun. What are we watching? Carlos, I'm interested to hear what you've been watching.
God, I didn't even think about this. Well, I mean, this week, obviously Star Trek. So, so the first 2 episodes of Discovery, which I was so happy that they let us watch.
Hey.
Yeah, it was we got our little Starfleet Academy cadet pin in the mail this week. I got mine today. It's a little pin of the captain's chair from Discovery. And
I got mine.
And what else? You know, I've been so busy otherwise this week. I have not seen a lot of television. So other than Star Trek, I made a point of that. I have been watching on Apple TV Plus Foundation. I don't know how many of you are
I
watching
want to
Foundation.
watch that. I want to watch
It's
it, but I just can't justify getting another streaming service right now.
well, get it. You can. I mean, this week is their season finale, so
Ooh, so I can
get
binge
it.
watch. Okay.
Yeah, so you can binge watch it
It's
now.
been renewed for a second season, right?
Oh yeah. I think. Yeah, I think it has.
I think I saw that on Twitter this week.
Yeah. And it's been, I would say, I mean, I think that it had a strong start, but there were some shaky portions to the first couple episodes, but it's gotten better and better and better as they've sort of built their universe each step along the way. And the ways in which they depart from the Asimov novels, which, I mean, Isaac Asimov's brilliant at what he does, but he's not really a character guy. And so they really explore these characters in ways that Asimov just never did. And it's not a character-driven book series, but this TV series very much is. It's lavish. They're spending money on this thing. It's intriguing. Spaceships don't look the way you normally see spaceships work, which is cool. It's sort of like The Expanse in that way. It's like they have their own take on how space travel happens and build their stories out from that. And you definitely see that in the second half of the season. So I've been loving that. I've been watching The Morning Show, which is set in the months leading up to all the lockdowns for COVID. So you have that as this like underlying theme on top of which like all the regular, political things inside of a TV network are going on at the same time. And Jennifer Aniston, I have to say, she has been doing some acting that I have never seen her do before, and I'm super impressed. And it's not just her. I think their season finale is also released today.
So is that show whole premise running up to COVID, or are they going to go beyond that, or?
COVID has been there since the beginning of the season, but it's set in those early months, starting like before the holidays of 2019, and
memories.
Yeah, but I think I haven't watched the finale yet, but I think in the finale the lockdowns happen, so we see what the implications of that are. So it's kind of growing, looming threat throughout the whole season, which feels like has gone by really fast. But it's just some phenomenal acting from a great cast. Billy Crudup, who plays the head of the network, won an Emmy for his work. Totally deserves it. His character is deep and funny and tragic and powerful. All these things at the same time. Got a lot of texture. So I've been really enjoying that too.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos. Justin, what have you been watching this week?
Let's see here. I watched the Titan season finale, which if I've been following along, it's been a pretty interesting adventure this season.
Yep.
Let's see, caught up on the Stargirl season finale.
I've been watching that too, but I'm behind a few episodes.
Let's see what else. Oh yes, Doctor Who Flux. Holy shit. Grace is back. Well, kind of, in a way.
Spoilers! I haven't watched the latest episode yet.
Oh, you butthead. But it was actually fun. Watched the Flash season premiere. That's all I'm watching. If you haven't caught Legends this season, it's actually pretty decent. Yeah, it's not bad. Other than that, use my usual streaming stars and throughout the week, periodic times. But yeah, it's that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife today.
I'm seeing that tomorrow.
We will talk about that next week, and I think Jason will be joining us for that too.
Maybe in costume
Ooh.
Nice.
Not just costume, weapon.
weapon.
That it's props are part of the costume. And speaking of Ensign Beard Fosse, what have you been watching this week?
So obviously, Discovery Prodigy, and then we've been watching The Rookie. Michelle's finally caught up to where we are in The Rookie, so that's my guilty pleasure cop procedural show. I think that's it. Silas has been watching The Masked Singer. He really likes that show, so we've been watching a lot of that at night. We started over the summer. We watched America's Got Talent, and now he's into those shows. So he's going back and he's watching like old American Idols, old what's the one where they turn around?
Voice.
The Voice.
The voice.
Yeah. He's really getting into those shows, and I don't know why, but yeah, I mean,
I'm
I get
sorry.
America's Got Talent because it's got Terry Crews and it's different stuff, but he's really getting into but he really, really likes The Masked Singer. So,
All right. Thank you, Jason. Son, what have you been watching?
Well, like last week, I've been watching the Rittenhouse trial. And that ended today. No matter what you think of the verdict happened. Just be nice. Other than that, tasting history with Max Miller this week was the original Texas recipe for pecan pie. The recipe before Karo syrup ruined it into an ungodly, super sweet fucking mess. And yeah, I think I'm going to try that.
Carlos knows all about sweet messes.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Justin.
I know. It's almost as if I didn't say I wasn't implying that you was fat at it or anything like that.
I mean,
Although for the record, I hate pecan pie, but please continue, son.
Most
well,
do.
yeah. Most people do because it's so sickly sweet.
It's fucking pointless.
Well, see, that's the thing. The original recipe, you taste the pecans more than you do all that fucking corn
Sweetness.
syrup. And I think that's kind of the point, because instead of like the syrup being the base, you're basically making a custard for the pecans. So yeah, I definitely think I'm going to try that. Let's see what else. Ooh, watched all the stuff. Oh yeah, God, I am so impressed with what Chibnall is doing in fucking Doctor Who. Holy shit. I am
Like,
so
where the
glad.
fuck is
I
been?
can't believe those words are coming out of your mouth, son.
I am so glad somebody whooped his ass into gear to make something out of Doctor Who.
Where have you been the last 2 seasons?
Holy
Well, I want to know.
shit.
Jesus Christ, because it's been amazing
this
so far.
is his last season, right?
Yes.
So I mean, it's like shit her off the pot early, right? For him.
So I guess he's shitting?
Yeah.
No. He's
Well,
been
he-
Or is he
shitting.
getting off the
hit
pot?
bed.
Sorry,
Getting
help me with
it.
the metaphor here.
He's been shitting the last 2
I mean,
seasons.
I
Okay,
the
so he's gotten off the pot.
The last 2 seasons, he broke the toilet like Sean O'Halloran. This season, he's getting off the toilet.
My point is that I'm not a big Q fan. Again, Silas is. He's watched all of them. He likes Jodie Whittaker's Who. He likes the last 2 seasons, but they're not his favorite. But so he hasn't started watching this new season yet. So maybe I should get him to watch it.
Yeah, this
Yes, give us the Silas report later.
I will.
Basically. Okay, so you guys remember the episode with the fugitive doctor, right?
Yes.
We all loved that episode.
Mhm.
We were so much more invested in the fugitive doctor than we were Jodie Whittaker, which is a fucking shame. Well, you know what? This 6 episode seasonal block thing is basically Chibnall going, okay, let's apply all the fugitive doctor shit to Jodie Whittaker, and it's like, finally, shit is getting done.
And it explains the backstory. It makes so much. It just, yes.
I mean, I've seen so many people complaining about this being a retcon of the Doctor, and it's like, no, it's not. if it's going the way I believe it's going, it's literally going to make perfect sense.
So will this be, with this being Jodie Whittaker's last season? Well, is that bittersweet then that they now that finally like it's hitting its stride and she's doing a good job and like the writing is good and stuff?
I think this is more of Chibnall. I think this is more the fact that somebody told Chibnall, either you make something good or you don't work with us again at the BBC, like at all. Because like this is his last season, but he's got 3 more Doctor Who specials to make too.
Wow, it's 3. I thought it was just 2.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
He's got
there's
3.
always a like they got the Christmas special.
But yeah, they're going to have a Christmas special, an anniversary special, and then whatever the hell the
Crossover.
no, not the crossover. The last special is supposed to be her. Oh good God, what the hell is it called?
Farewell.
Regeneration.
Her
Her
finale.
regeneration.
Ah.
Her regeneration is going to be a special all its own, from what I understand.
Okay.
So yeah, but this season has been phenomenal, and we got more insight into the fugitive Doctor's past. So that's been great. Is there anything else that I've been watching? Honestly,
Ross, you've been watching Ross.
Oh, that's true. I've been watching Ross stream over on Twitch as he paints his little plastic army, and then puts some of them in his dishwasher. I mean, yeah, he basically
Beep.
he basically has a little miniature dishwasher for his army.
That beeps apparently.
It's my cleaning cure station for my resin printer. After a print's complete, I set it in a container and immerse it in a bath of isopropyl alcohol.
And then it buzzes.
There's
a little turntable that spins.
I would watch that.
You really should like bring it out and put it on the table when you do those, just so people can watch.
Have you seen how big it is?
Space on this desk.
Oh no, I understand. I did watch something kind of hilarious this week. Is that me buzzing? I don't know. Okay, Justin, stop it. Okay?
Put that thing away, Justin. Don't break it out during the show.
For those of you who are a fan of Freedom Tunes, which Freedom Tunes is slightly controversial, they put out a music video this week, a parody of Evanescence, with Jordan Peterson. Well, they parodied being Jordan Peterson, and yeah, it's Bring Me to Evanescence's Bring Me to Life, but it's Clean Your Room. It's amazing. It's absolutely hilarious, and it's actually kind of heartwarming in a way. So yeah, I recommend checking that out.
All right. Thank you, son.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss anybody?
No, we're missing Greg.
Yeah, he had to go take care of his kiddo. As for me, mostly just my usual YouTube playlist, but I did manage to get in a couple of audiobooks this week.
Oh, wow.
The most recent one I finished was The Twice Dead King, a Warhammer 40k novel that centers around a crumbling dynasty of the Necrontyr, the same race of the army that I'm painting. But also, I finished Star Trek Coda Book 1. Wow. Wow. To quote Dayton Ward, dude, it's so much worse than you think. The story, without spoiling it, this is Infinity War. Not Infinity War. This is Crisis on Infinite Earths, but Star Trek.
Get out.
This is a reality-ending threat that is using the temporal anomalies common throughout all of Star Trek to destroy multiverses.
So basically, Wesley Crusher and Cass are pissed.
Well, a Wesley
damn it.
Crusher dies.
Hey, spoilers.
I said A.
This is Coda, right?
This is Coda. You look like you're about to say something.
No, I've been kind of following along. Dayton Ward's promoting it, and so I've got to get the first one. I haven't gotten the first one yet. My kid's been using my
What?
Audible subscription.
I listened to the audiobook version of it. It's really good. It summarizes the biggest high points of the novel series so far as the Next Generation era, and it sets up one hell of a conflict. And some of the consequences, both in alternate realities, the future, and the present of the novels, are staggering in scope, in scale, and in loss. People are going to die. Not just in the alternate realities, but in the novel Prime. I'm not going to say anything else, but brace yourself. This is the end.
It's the Temple of Doom, and Winnie, we are going to die.
It's.
Not canon.
I haven't read everything that's come out since the end of Enterprise, but I've read a lot of really good ones. The Typhon Pact series is one of my favorites novel series because of the rise of a power that can rival the Federation in the area that the Federation occupies. Not in the Gamma Quadrant, not in the Delta Quadrant, there. And the things that Dayton Ward, Kevin Dillmore, David Mack, and other incredible authors have done has been absolutely mind-blowing. To quote John Van Sitters, we gave you guys just enough rope to hang yourselves, and you wove an intricate and beautiful tapestry. And this trilogy, I just finished the first book, and already my mind is just warped around what the possibilities of what they're doing are. I can't recommend it enough. If you liked Destiny, Star Trek Destiny, the three-part book that told the story of the final conflict with the Borg, you're going to love this because it has a similar feel. This unstoppable force that is coming to consume everything, and you don't know how it's going to end. I can't wait to actually talk to you guys about it if you read it, because I need to talk about it. Damn it.
It sounds like it.
Oh.
It also sounds like season 4 of Discovery.
Maybe, I don't know. Kinda. All right, so that'll wrap things up for tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you everyone for watching, for listening, for engaging, liking, subscribing, upvoting, whatever it is that you do to engage, commenting too. Even the downvote helps the algorithm get us around. So do all the things to help put us in front of more eyeballs and ear holes.
All the downvotes brought Carlos back.
Justin,
And Passe.
Justin, where can people find you?
Twitch TV, Commander Shepard.
Son?
Before I say, Jason, thank you for your Thanksgiving picture, because of that, I now have a Christmas gift for my sister. Those lightsaber electric salt and pepper grinders.
Yes.
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Sunseal. I play games Sunday and Tuesday at about 3 p.m. Central.
Carlos.
You can find me at axmonitor.com and the Axe Monitor Facebook group. Occasionally. I haven't been around that much in the last few weeks because I've started a new job, so it's been keeping me busy.
Jason.
You can find me at work, where I'm at 12 hours a day for the rest of the year. And that's about it.
Also known as...
And if you're watching on Twitch, you're already in the right place. Live_love_play. Thank you all once again for watching. We're glad to have you here for another week. We'll see you again next time. And until then, remember to live, to love, and to play every day. Son.
And remember, sweeties, you are loved and appreciated by just your being you.
Justin, play us out. And we're clear on Twitch.
And then Jason's doing his best red alert from the Enterprise incident.
And we're about to be clear everywhere else in 3,